Harry, you didn't start with the music, eh? Guys, closing acumen here again. Back. We're back with the closing acumen. Welcome again, guys. We are back here with the closing acumen on this Friday's edition. Uh, and it is so good to be here. So good to see everybody who's joining us right now. We are being broadcast live on Truth FM, right? The nation's hottest station in Liberia. So welcome to the closing acumen. Uh, Welcome, guys, as you make your way. We are back again live on the closing acumen on this Friday edition. It's really raining, it's wet here, thunderstorm, all here. So we'll see what happens, but we're gonna try to bring you the show as planned, so that you can come on, guys. So welcome as you make your way slowly. Uh, you make your way slowly. The closing acumen is here, brother. So a lot happening. Uh, lot. Samuel Gogai, Hollywood. Say wow. Welcome, guys. You make your way to the closing acumen, man. We will probably bring you some music as we await the show. What you make your way? If you make your way, just share. There's a lot of things happening now in Liberia. My name is Henry Peabody. I'm going to be here with you as we take you through the various news and what have you in Liberia. So it'll be an opportunity. Uh, 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 it'll be an opportunity to hang out and talk about politics in Liberia. Welcome, Mr. Gaga Mr. Samuel Gogai, Hollywood. Welcome. So, guys, welcome to the closing acumen. The weather is a little bad in the U.S. today, but we'll try to break you the show as we can. As you make your way, we say welcome as you make your way to the closing acumen. So, welcome, guys. Welcome to the closing acumen nation premier program, the closing acumen. Henry, are we live? Let me see something. Yeah, I believe so. Because let's see here, Henry, we're not live. Henry, where you at? Henry, we went live on Facebook, so you guys did not. Henry, you didn't. We're not live on Facebook. What did you click? What did you put on? Probably did not put in the destination, Henry. We are not. We went live on the. Uh, uh, uh. You did not put in the destination, Henry. Got to put that in. Uh, we only on YouTube. You didn't click the You didn't click the closing acumen spot. So we gotta add the
We
closing.
gotta add the closing.
We are not
Yeah,
live.
we are not live on. I'm trying to figure that out very shortly.
Yeah,
Let
we're
me see
not.
what
We're
I can
not.
do. How are you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm good, man.
I'm good, man. Okay. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And good to see our
We
followers also.
and we either have to
We don't
create
have to create
because you didn't add
because
the
you
desk.
didn't add the desk.
Let's see what
Let's
I
see
can
what I can
do that.
Yeah, myself, I'm trying to figure out that.
You're not app.
Would have to be a new.
We have to go back and yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do a new destination because you didn't add it there. We're not on Facebook. You have to click everything to get us on. So we are on YouTube. You have to click everything to get us on. We're on YouTube, but we are not. Folks, if you're watching, just bear with us.
Yeah, so we come up very shortly on Facebook. We're trying to resolve that very shortly. We will be on Facebook.
Yes, so God, welcome again. And right here,
So
My microphone is open, sorry.
yeah, so let's welcome guys watching us on YouTube. We'd like to welcome you to the Closing Acumen. Hopefully we'll go live on Facebook shortly. So we'll go live on Facebook shortly. Yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome. It's an honor to have you here on the flow. Facebook, our friends watching us on YouTube. We'd like to welcome you. We'll just bring you some music. Let me take this call. Welcome, guys. Make it.
you guys are on Facebook now. You should be now. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
You should be on now. You should be on Facebook now.
All right. Let me. Yes. We
We
are.
Yes. We are there.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. You're welcome, boss man.
It's you, bro.
Welcome, guys. The other. Shortly. I should make it way. I know you got to turn your mic on. Man. You know. As you make your way, say welcome to our Facebook page or our friends on YouTube. We thank you for joining us as well. As you come on, we encourage you to just share. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of things happening in Liberia today. A lot of things happening. I mean, the news. We'll bring you news from Front Page Africa and other groups. But welcome, guys. Welcome to the Closing Acumen. And so we are here. We are joined by at least, as you make your way. Yes, the guys are here. Hello, my friend Mozart Dennis. Good to see you always from Minnesota, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Otello Swab from New Hope, PA. Welcome, Otello. Welcome, Samuel Goga Hollywood. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Closing Acumen. As you make your way, we encourage you to just share the show. The others will be joining us. Setumin George, Lofa Julius, Robert Gagwa is in Ghana, Ben Sembi, Grace Gua, Sylvester Pee Wee, Professor Larry Kennedy, one of our strongest supporter. He will be joining us soon, and we're looking forward to a great show here today. We will definitely ensure that we follow the time so that we end on time. Hopefully, in the middle of the conversation, we will have some calls so that you can call in because sometimes we get carried away by the conversation and we cannot make the call that we want to make. So we want to welcome you. Make yourself comfortable as you come. Uh, welcome Abu Abule Dwele. He's watching from Zozo City, Lofa County. Man, that's a long way. Thank you, Abula. I hope I'm pronouncing your name. I'm bad off when it comes to me. Uh, Inform Liberia today. Inform. We had a small problem, man. You got bad, my brother. We sorry we're late. You got bad, my brother. We sorry. Inform Liberia. We sorry we came on late today, but we're glad you are here, my friend. I know you forgave us for coming late on the show, but we looking forward to see what is going on. What's all the noise? Liberia is so interesting. Uh, I talked to one of my friends this morning who came from Liberia, and he was saying that he went there to do some business, and it just didn't work for him. It did not work at all for him, and look for.
Well,
It did
you
not work.
fighting me.
I be pressing it too fast. I be pressing it too fast. But look, I tell you, you should be able to bring yourself in.
I tried to, but when I tried to, you kick me back out. I tried to, you kick me back out. That's
Oh,
what we're
okay. Next time we'll just be quiet.
just leave it alone. I got it.
Yeah,
Sometimes I've been trying to sit in the back and just
yeah.
get an idea of what is being discussed. So when I come on, I have
Okay.
opportunity.
Yeah, but it's a lot going on, Lofa. Talking to this guy this morning, and he took this sophisticated washing car, mobile car wash thing. He had all the machine and everything. He took it to Liberia, and he was hoping to do business. And he said that he even wanted to do business to the president because they were washing the president car, which is people take the towel and wash it and stuff like that. But he had the mobile power wash car,
Right.
Taken to Liberia so that folks, to give a modeling place. But then the people did not even show him. He stayed there. Things were not going right. He was spending money. He was spending more money than he was getting. And then he said, I went to Ghana. He said, boy, I just wanted to. In fact, he says, I'm transferring my business to Ghana. He said, I'm going to do it. He said, because I saw the law and order. He said, people were everywhere he went, trying to do things. He said people were begging him, people were dishonest. And he said, people that came to Ghana, I'm just now working on the business plan to just do my investment in Ghana. I think it'll be fine for me. And, all of that, man. So it's like that. If I welcome, man. Welcome to today's edition of the Closing Acumen Lo-Fi. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Peabody. And I'm not surprised to hear what I'm hearing about Liberians from from the diaspora who wants to go to Liberia to invest, but unfortunately, they are turned down because of the level of corruption and the amount of requests for handouts as compared to people being gracious and saying, come to Liberia, come on, let's create job in the private sector so that other young people can find something outside of government. But I'm sorry folks, before I get into that, let me first of all say good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be joining us from. Thank you. Do us a favor, share the video, invite other people to be a part of the conversation. It's very important that we all do our part. As part of the engagement process, you should share, and Peabody, and other people do the talking, bring the information to the general public, because your friends are not our friends. Our friends are not your friends. And so, in order to get the message across globally, we all should be able to share and invite people to listen in and hopefully contribute, whether it is just by calling and contributing or just written comments on here. We'll do our best to acknowledge them. But please, if you could, just share the show and invite other people to be a part of the conversation. And Dr. Peabody, great to be here. Happy Friday, TGIF. Great to be on the weekend. No work tomorrow, so it's great to be here.
It's a good weekend. I actually left work early because the weather was getting bad. It was a tornado watch, so the governor of New Jersey told all employees to leave due to emergency. So the get off like I left work 1 o'clock. So it was.
Oh, you guys actually got the notification a little later because ours was yesterday and today.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we had Hurricane Debbie out here, and we were told to we had the option we could work from home or we could go to the office. So that was kind of hybrid for the most part, and a lot of my things I had to cancel a lot of my travels that I needed to do because of the weather. But at the end of the day, today ended up being not so bad. Like it was, projected with the weather, the meteorologists, the way they made it sound. I thought, man, the whole house was just gonna get lifted and thrown in the ocean, and the way it was sounding. But to be honest, it all ended up being okay. So God first, and then everything. Like my my buddy would say to me, if you want a job where you can lie and get away with it easily, you should try to be a meteorologist. We'll cut it the weatherman, because we never the meteorologists can always say whatever they want to say, and to get away with that. So I think that's a good feel. But back to Liberia though, the story you just shared with us about this guy who thought to go to Liberia and invest, but again he was deterred because people who would just not give up on corruption. That is a form of, and you will be surprised, Dr. Peabody, where Liberians back home often question some Liberian in the diaspora, and right, not just some, but all of us in the diaspora, when we try to intervene in the political discussion. What have you done in Liberia? What do you have in Liberia? But they don't even understand the slightest, of how much people have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice just to create jobs in Liberia. Some of the things that they take for granted in Liberia are some of the way people get riches overnight. I have a friend of mine who runs a construction company. I have a friend of mine right here in Raleigh, North Carolina, who's doing the same thing you just mentioned. Mobile car wash. This man works, but his business, he started a business. He hired 3 young people from high school, and he just managed them. He hands his cars out to people, co-workers at a job, and you call him. He drives these young people out there to go to do they call it the car detailing. They go and detail the car. I think they make money. So what if you're just considering the fact that in Liberia today, you don't have jobs already. You have a lot of young people who don't really have the skill set to work in government and work in other professional settings where you have to wear suit and tie and fool yourself that you're this big shot. But if you were to hire them and say to them, look, monthly or bi-weekly, we'll give you $50. So $100 a month. That goes a long way. If you were to hire one young person, and say to them, look, we will give you the opportunity to the work every 2 weeks. We'll pay you $50. So every month you get paid $100 US. That in itself takes away from the government. So you now that's a form of investment. whether or not they are actually giving back to the institution that's hiring them,
Yeah.
you're taking that extra burden. But when this guy comes to Liberia to register his institution, you're asking him for corruption money
Right.
handout.
Right.
What are you giving me? You're not encouraging him to really come into the country and say, "Look, I want to give back." But
Yeah.
then we contribute to the political conversation. What are you guys doing? You're not encouraging people to give you the opportunity.
No.
So
No.
it's hard,
Yeah.
and this is why a lot of Liberians will rather take their investment to other countries. They will
Yeah.
go to Ghana and go to other countries that are welcoming. And I really thought that President Boyka would have been one of those to encourage diaspora Liberians to come in, because this man lived so long, and you would think that he's knowledgeable
Yeah.
and it should be understanding. But unfortunately, it appears that he's only concerned about he, his wife, and his kids, and few family members who are in his circle. And so with that, they really don't care. If you're not within his, just within that close proximity to the president, nobody care about you. You can die with starvation and everything. But let me give Sis Grace the opportunity to chime in on the conversation, or at least the welcoming part of the
Yeah.
conversation.
Welcome, Grace. Grace, welcome, and maybe Grace will welcome those who just joining us, guys. As you join, please share. So, Grace, welcome, and welcome our guest, Grace.
Okay,
Wow,
thank
friends.
you. Thank you so much, guys. I'm happy to be here. For the radio sake, my name is Grace Kowa, and this is the closing argument. And we are all happy to be here. Today is Friday, August 9th.
Sis Grace, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Lofa Julius.
But you just put an August on it. Yeah, today is August 9th, and I mean, the year is almost coming to an end. Isn't that just amazing how we already in August? And so far, we have seen the new government be seated into power, and they are now leading the country. And we are happy to see that there's a transition in Liberia right now, but we're still waiting to see the transformation, and that's what we are waiting for. I would like to welcome people on the platform. I'm looking. I don't really see everything on this platform for some reason, but I would welcome Jeff Camu, and Bilson Pay, and Emmanuel Mar. I see Abules Dule, Otelo Swab, Mazat Dennis, Rusty Zink. Who does that? Rusty Zink, how you doing? I can't like the name, but I sure your parents didn't need Rusty Zink from Brentwood.
I tell you what, though, Rusty Zink, he's a critic of this government. He is, again, I say, a huge critic of this government. So the minute you say Rustic Zink, I know exactly. But you just watch the comment section. You there's
Yeah,
Rustic
I
Zink.
don't usually watch it because I don't see everything. So I don't
There's
know.
Rusty Zink. There's Ja Eddie. I can name them out. Liberian Patriot. And I have just gotten to the point where I just get the name right off my head when they come on. Sita, Chelsea P. Norris, and all of these people.
Winifred Smith, my
There you
favorite.
go.
Yeah.
These are our regular follow. I'm not talking about those who are born members of the, especially for our board of, is that board of director or advisors, right? Like Eugenia and other people. But these are regular follower who share the show too. So guys, again, I'm glad that Sis Grace brought this up here. And you know the little you do by sharing the podcast and just continuously helping us get the message across. We are taking a note of those who are supporting the platform. So we appreciate you guys, because the little things you do goes a long way. All
Yep.
right. Thank you.
Yep. That's
Okay.
true.
Yeah, but we happen to be here, and we would like to also welcome the guys in the studio. My favorite voice. I know Henry should be there. I don't know whether he's there. And then Ansu, and the rest of the young men that are in the studio in Liberia at the radio station. We want to say thank you for the work that you are doing. We are all working together to bring some, change into Liberia some way, somehow. We don't know, but the little you do, it goes a long way. And sometimes you don't know you're effecting change, but it's happening. Somebody told me the other day that, since Grace, I just write my newspaper, I write, and I don't see anything. So I get very weak because we get all these stories, we got proof, we put them in the newspaper, and nothing is done. There is no prosecution. There is no putting nobody to the putting nobody against or what they do, and nothing at that point. So I felt perplexed because I feel that way sometimes, especially when you're fighting cases in Liberia that have to do with things on human rights and stuff like that. You see, nothing happened. Like Tobias Bowen right now, we don't know whether he's out of prison. He was one of the persons that raped a lot of little girls in Liberia, and the government of last did nothing. We don't know whether this government going to bring the case up. But all those little things, and especially when the three missing young men, now Gregory Como then almost closing the case, and it's a cold case, they never really looked into it. I feel that it was not properly open and investigated because cold cases are supposed to be investigated for a while before you can come to a conclusion. So all those things, it makes people, because for me, I will fight to the end. But other people don't have that kind of strength. And it takes that girl backwards because if the people who speaking for us cannot see any results, some of them will stop speaking.
All right, all right. So welcome Cecilia Cully. Welcome Cecilia, all of you guys. But look, guys, let's just start. I wanted to highlight something here that I saw on the front page Africa today. Uh, it talk about Liberia debts mount as Liberia debts mount government face pressure to revisit policy. Is that imminent debt crisis in Liberia? Liberia has a lot going on. We are in some bad. I wish I could say the other word, but I can't say it here on the platform. But we are in some bad a debt. Maybe the younger children will grow up and there will be some kids born will still our country will still be in debt. And then I read something from Senator McGill uh, on front page. He said that there were $20 million injected into the budget. How did that go in there without the legislature approval? In fact, the Speaker of the House, Honorable, what's her name,
Fanatical.
Timothy Kofa, have also requested a review of that whole thing. So, what is happening? And then we'll read the other. We'll read the other news article that came up here. Some other stuff that came up, and then the Supreme Court placed a prohibition on the suspension of Governor Tyler. So those are all trending news and things that are happening. But I wanted to just start with that piece. Front page is saying that. I like to listen to front page. They take it or leave it. They're like real honest. They bring us the news. We may not like them when they're not on your side. Then
Mhm.
when on your side, then we get back. But I think they are
What,
one
you-
like
what you mean? What you mean by that, though?
some people will come up and say, "Oh, front pages." But I think they are one of like the finest, the finest so far.
No, but the Liberian people will talk on the pick side because as a
Yeah.
news media, you're not supposed to pick sides. So if they pick sides, maybe the
Oh,
Liberian people will question that. But I mean, they're a very good newspaper.
yeah,
It's
one of
just
the
that we
best.
just plead into the media not to pick sides.
Yeah,
Just don't.
yeah, one of the best, so far. So, but let's talk about that. Firstly, let's start with the prohibition that have been placed on by the Supreme Court for Governor Talu. Do you think Governor Talu will be able to go back there and still have control like he had before? I want us to start with that part.
So, I'll let, due to the fact that there's not a lot of us here. Let me let Grace to
No,
go.
you go ahead because I
Oh,
need to hear more about this. So go
okay.
ahead.
So the issue of the prohibition, and this is something that I think we have been talking about. I'm glad that the incoming representative of Riverside County is here, Mr. Riverside Pro, so that when they are opportune to accent to that right, they are opportune to accent to that position, they can actually serve the people of Riverside County right. So, you know, we all knew that the process to this whole CBO and the the governor being suspended and all of these things were illegal. Look, in short, let me just summarize the entire process and just lay it out because I don't want to just confuse our people with all of the political rhetorics that is often spewed out there. You cannot enforce the law by breaking the law.
Hmm.
When the Supreme Court says your action should be reversed, you should be ashamed of it in the decision you made in the first place. So now we are going to status quo. What becomes of the entire process is now that, okay, you either go to court, you either fight it, and you cannot go beyond the Supreme Court. I think the only other uh, 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 legal jurisdictions, okay, that we probably can submit to is, I want to believe, ECOWAS. Other than that, the Supreme Court is the highest. So if they actually reverse a decision, what does that say to you? You're not thinking. You are not being calculative in decisions that are being made. In order to be a successful government, you must calculate your action. You must think it through. Even as a good leader, you often sit, observe, and speak last because once you have listened to those whom you supervise, you hopefully will get the answer to your problem. But to hear that this whole probation, I mean, in other words, that's a form of just reversal of the decision. So that means they cannot implement what they needed until they go through the entire investigation, the legal aspect of it. And again, I am not speaking here as a legal practitioner because I'm not. I don't have that legal idea to speak to it. But just from a lawman standpoint, it's obvious that, again, the government, again, failed miserably in their attempt to corrupt the system. And somebody stood up. And I really hope every other Liberian would do the same thing. Don't just allow yourself to be run over. Stand into it. And I think this is a, hopefully, when they go through the entire process, they will not use another legal means to twist the arms of those who are victims of the, because you're not part of our party, so we're going to kick you out or anything of that nature.
And
Great.
that is so true. I mean, I want to applaud the Supreme Court for taking the stance and doing the right thing because usually, as we know, like the president is like a god to the people, and everybody's supposed to be, worshiping him in their mindset that everything he says should be in stone and nothing can be changed. But for the Supreme Court to come and say, you know what, this is wrong, and make sure that they did that, I really, really applaud them for that. You would think President Braga would have good advisors around him. I'm not comparing the advisors that were around WIA, although I didn't think any much of them. But at least they did make some good decisions when it came to making sure that the law worked, even if they did it wrong. Yeah, so but they made sure that it went through a process to make it right for the people to say, okay, they went to court and this thing happened and this thing happened, they were found this. But it's not in this particular regime, this government case. Mutu Benki tell them, I don't know what they're telling this person or what they're advising him. He needs to go and rethink his advisors and come back and bring new set of people. It doesn't matter if you are president and you appoint some people certain time in your government, certain a few months past, these people are now coming forth and making sure that everything is done rightly. You have to change these people and bring in competent, adequate people that be able to do what you want to happen in the country. But I sure that they got a shock of their life that this is not going to be, business as usual. The Supreme Court stood their ground, and let's see what happens. We cannot praise them too much now because we don't know when they go into the courts. We don't know how they're going to change things again just to get rid of the central bank governor. But at least this is the first step towards us seeing something good. And we did not even see that when it came to the House of Representatives, how Mike Chapatel threatened a certain lawmaker in the House of Representatives, Mr. Belete sat here and said we're going to invite this man. Until now, we have not seen anything. The police have not made any, statement. The president office has not said anything. What is the right thing to do, though, with these kind of things? You still proceeding wrongly in your 6 months to 7 months of presidency. So then you tell us that we who would be working as higher, like we who are hiring you, like we working in the office to be hiring you into office, we are saying that maybe we need to let you go. We cannot hire, we cannot accept this kind of wrongful work that you're doing for the Liberian people because everything is not in place. I mean, at least some things are supposed to be in place. Your advisors are not advising well. The other branches of government, they are not working well. So we don't know. And I want to conscientize the president. Although I'm going to skip away from this central bank thing a little bit, I want to conscientize the president because I'm still very disappointed. And most of the people I know are people, especially people who talk and advocate for Liberians. They're wondering why is it this president has not come up yet to just condemn what Mark Chapatel has done, has said that kind of grave threat to a certain lawmaker just because the lawmaker disagree with the president and the people know that this lawmaker, he said words, he insults, but there is no threat there from him. So why is it that now a certain assistant minister has threatened the lawmaker and nobody want to say anything? So you want our country to be lawless, that people can come and threaten people, and then when you're not saying anything, then maybe they will act on that threat. So that's the concern that we have with this president. He is not operating in the right way as a president who been in government for 40 years and working different capacities. He's not working accordingly. So we wonder whether he actually knew his job when he was in government for 40 years, or we just pay him free money. So right now it's like he's just living his retirement. He's not even doing anything and not abiding by the law. But it's alleged that it's out there that Mike Chapatel is saying now that the president called him and complimented him and told him, say his job is safe. I read it in the newspaper today that he said, you know what, your job is safe, don't worry about anything. We don't want Liberia to be that way. That's why most of the Liberian book came up, because that book is being taken from George Weah CDC government. That's how they did. How you come now, you say you can't rescue the country, and you're doing the same thing, you're even doing it worse. We want President Bouaka to speak out on this thing. It is not safe for the media people. It's not safe for people who are advocating. It's not safe for civil rights activists. It's not safe that when you say something about the president, your life becomes threatening and they just leave it that way. So we want the president to act. I'm still saying this. And we thank God the Supreme Court has acted, and we'll see how far this case will go.
Grace, yes. I mean, Grace, I know we got all the confidence the Supreme Court have come up, the Supreme Court have done this, but we are saying this over and over. The Supreme Court will come and say, oh, we put a prohibition on there for us to meet on this time, they will meet. The next thing, Barker will come up, he will say, we either suspend the person, and then the whole thing die. You go back to the Supreme Court said, nope, we're not doing it again. So I don't know. I respect the laws of Liberia, but I got to be honest, I have reservation when it comes to the Supreme Court. I have serious reservation when it comes to our Supreme Court, because we saw this thing happening in a lot of cases. At the end of the day, the government prevailed. The Supreme Court said we got to work with the government to make sure and all of that. So the Supreme Court, they got to. They really don't. I really haven't seen the Liberian Supreme Court to really stand up against something and say I will stand our ground, and this is supposed to happen and happen. I have not seen that. So. The best thing, if I were Talu, they violated the law, to be honest. They are creating the Supreme Court. They violated it. They went to court. The Supreme Court put a stay order on it, but he's not going to go back and have the right that he has. They're not going to even allow him to go make any decision there in that court. They already have Barker already appointed his nephew. His nephew have been there the last week or two. They have been controlling things. They have been forcing other people to resign. They have been forcing them, pressurizing them to leave. Some other governor had to resign. They did it to Nimandi Pearson, beautiful, hard-working lady. You never hear her name in a thing. They went and they forced her out to give her a resignation. It's like you there, but they're bringing all these people on you. They say, don't listen to them, don't do this. They kind of intimidate you more. And some people can't take it. They will leave. So if I were Tao, brother, just give it up. Give it up. They are concerned that a lot of money was taken from
But
them.
Charlie give it up, it means that then they win. And we can't allow people. I don't
Dr.
understand.
Peabody, I totally,
Yes, you can't fight them. You can't.
Dr. Peabody, I disagree with you. I
I'm
disagree
talking
with you.
about law. If you could depend on the law, then you can say, you know what, we will do this. Or, we'll work on this, we'll do that. But you can't depend on that law.
Dr. Peabody, I will say, in my disagreement, we must actually set precedents. Okay, had several advocates. Okay, like the Rosa Parks, the Martin Luther King, and other people said to themselves, nothing is going to change in America because of the pigment of our skin. Probably you and I would not have had the opportunity that some of us had today. So we must test the system. We must push it to the fullest, okay? Regardless of the result, even if it is not favorable to us, let us make sure that we are following the Constitution that is supposed to be the Bible of the nation. Let us go through. Let us hold them accountable. He should not simply just give up. Let him hold them accountable. And I will use Mr. Alexander Cummings as an example. A lot of people say, just give up. Just let that thing go. He said, no, let the Lord take his course. And at the end of the day, what did it say? They threw it out the court. I think he should hold them accountable. He should fight until the last minute when he can say, I can't fight no more. And then he will be remembered in history. But if he just simply say, okay, I'll settle for whatever you gave me, then it will be a continuous trend where they will feel like, okay, today is President Boykai. President Boykai is with us, and in no way, shape, or form am I praying for anything bad. But President Boykai is pretty much our father, could be a grandfather to me. He's already out there. He's no longer a part of the future of Liberia. What if another young person, let's just take an example. What if a Grace Gua sit here and say, President Boykai did this. So if I'm opportune to become the next president, I think I should be able to do the same thing because of the mentality. Remember, it took one person, an individual, to propagate the message that Liberia could only be saved by one person, and one person only, and that was Henry Costa. Because of the level, the consistency in his false narrative, how consistent he was with his false narrative, due to the level of gullibility in our society, Liberian bought into it. And so look where we are today. So we should not say, yeah, let him just buy into that. And even at that, Henry Costa, regrets. Up until today's date, I'm pretty sure he regrets the decision that was made to support the presidency of President Boykai, because he knew within himself that this man had no understanding of true governance. He had no idea as to how he could move Liberia forward. He could not transform Liberia in the slightest way. Look where we are. So I think, honestly, let him fight to the fullest until he can fight no more. Let him take them through the process and let it be judged in history.
Well, I agree with you, so Lofa. I agree 100%. It's a good thing. It's a very very good thing, you know. But we are talking here like you, the law of that country is something that you can even, you know. I believe in the Supreme Court. I gotta be honest. I believe in it, but we have seen a lot of flaws within that system. We have seen a lot. A lot of people have gone to the Supreme Court. They'll put stay order. When they go, they say we got to work with the government. They're not going to go farther. And at the end of the day, nothing happened. I would love to see something good come up. I would love for Talu to stand his ground. But with what going on and with what I've read, they will not. They did it to other people. They did it on other area. Where they went there and took them off. They went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, "Oh no, it was wrong. Let the people go back to work." They went back and suspended the people. When it went back to the Supreme Court said, "We can't handle this." So you know, I believe in the law of the land, but it's just gonna be difficult, bro. I ain't lying to you. I tell you, I just think he's fighting a tough battle. Tyler is fighting a tough battle. That's what I think. It'll be a very tough battle because you don't know what go on overnight. The Supreme Court, the Chief Justice, I just been complaining that they have not given her all her money, all her benefits, and all of that, and she's not going to let the Supreme Court. I mean, the executive will go after her, and she will give them money. She'll give them the money. So the thing is, look, let me say this.
So Dr. Peabody, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Can you let him land?
No, I just really
wanted to say something.
He wanted to say something, but hopefully he can include this in that landing statement, right? In other words, you don't believe in the judiciary system at all.
I don't. I believe in in the law, but I don't trust the law. That's why in Nigeria, I don't. All right, Professor Kennedy, Chris, go ahead, and then Professor Kennedy will comment. Welcome, Professor. You look different today, Professor. Look a little different.
Yeah, I lost 2 pounds by cutting my hair.
Oh my God. That's but you look good though, Professor. Nice to see you. Yeah. I will ask the professor a question since he coming in. God, I wanted to know that this whole injecting the money into the budget. I wanted to know because sometimes when you inject money into a budget, it can be positive. It depends on the circumstances around that, but it has to be transparent, and also there has to be accountability. So I don't know what your take on this whole money being injected into the budget, and then McGill in another country calling for, intervention or investigation. Some, I'm not going to say anything negative about McGill, but people like McGill, when they call for those things, then I don't care about that. I just want to hear from Professor Kennedy, people who has clean record, because you can't be requesting for that when you were in the last regime doing the same exact thing. So we don't listen to people like that. Go ahead, Professor, so you can let me know, because I want to know. It could be a good thing, but I don't know whether the transparency and the accountability part. I don't know, so I just wanted you to speak on it.
Yeah, so thank you all, man. I always enjoy listening and watching TCA, the closing argument, because you guys take the conversation to another level. Well, I'm gonna try to be impartial, right? And I'm not leaning towards Unity Party. I'm not against Unity Party or for CDC, but I'm gonna try to be fair by just giving you the evidence, and then you can decide for yourself. So the first thing is, we discussed this, and I think when the central bank governor was suspended, I think we started discussing it, that it wasn't legal, right? Because nowhere in the act that created the central bank is the word suspension, suspended can be found anywhere in there. So the president has no authority to suspend the central bank governor. Now, we already have discussed this, and we put it to bed, that you can, in fact, remove the governor for cause, right? You can remove the governor for cause. So you have to go through the impeachment process, which is essentially putting the governor on trial for maybe some malfeasance or something like that. So to Lofa's point earlier, I think the president should actually rescind this suspension. The president should really pull it back, because it doesn't look right. You take something, you suspend someone, then the Supreme Court overturns your suspension, because eventually that's what's going to happen, because nowhere in there the president has the authority to do that. And then, I mean, I think the people advising the president, if they understand how the banking system works, they should know very well that the president should never, ever, ever, ever intervene in the functions of a central bank. It should never, ever happen. Because we've seen in countries where it's happened before that it didn't turn out well. You know, we saw it happen in Argentina. We see it happen in Venezuela, what Maduro and his people did. We saw it happen with Mugabe, Zimbabwe, all those things. And we've seen it happen. And it's been well established that the government, the executive branch, should never have control to suspend or governor of the central bank or intervene with the central bank, because people just wouldn't trust the central bank, right? When Patriot came in as central bank governor, the first thing I can remember him saying was he was going to abide by everything that President Weah tells him. That was like the biggest mistake a central bank governor, the worst statement a central bank governor can ever make. But Patriot said it. And people were like, oh, I'm like, this was total. He shouldn't have said it, right? So
He's a sycophant.
And the fact that, Chris, he had been there for decades. So he should know how central bank operate, right? He should know how this whole central bank concept was crafted after the U.S. Federal Reserve System. So he should know, and we'll talk about it, how President Trump has made attempts, or he has put out scare tactics when he was president to remove Jerome Powell as the head of the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. And he knew that there was going to be some consequences in doing it, because the U.S. economy was going to be impacted by doing that. People wasn't going to trust the system. So I think President Boyka should pull back that. And the fact that someone else is in the spot right now, it's just a matter of just unraveling everything that has been done. Pull it out. Now, that's saying that what President Boyka did is not the right move. The advice there just wasn't right, because that's not how central bank works, right? On the other hand, Tarlu simply wasn't qualified for that position. And we have to be honest. If you look at Tarlu's resume, he had no technical know-how experience in finance or economics. Saying that you work at Deutsche Bank or saying that you work at JP Morgan as a compliance officer, that's like saying, I don't even know how to equate it, You can't take someone who's just a compliance officer.
Let me help you, Professor.
Put in some words.
Help desk. The compliance officer, you're out of help desk.
You're just a technical spy or just a technical security officer in a bank. You're not a security guard in a bank. You're not really doing anything that relates to finance or economics. So he wasn't really. So in fact, when you look at the act that created the central bank, that in of itself is enough cause to remove him. Because people may not understand, but the central bank governor or the Federal Reserve Bank or any way is extremely powerful. He may not be powerful in Liberia because we don't have the right tools to create jobs and all that stuff, but it's a very powerful position. And Tyler, I think he just wasn't qualified for the position, but people can disagree. We can agree to disagree. But I think that the president would have good cause to remove him just on that grounds, and then, then the other issues where, the central bank was being treated like some mafioso bank where money used to. I saw Martin Coley posted something recently. Did you guys see that? Where he was saying they purchased land for about 700 and something thousand and the land cannot be found. When in Liberia, you can buy land and the land disappeared.
I saw that today.
It's incredible. Yeah. Thanks, Eddie. It's incredible. They purchased land and land disappeared. They purchased over $1 million in value cars, and it can't be accounted for. So the central bank, I don't know if it was somebody's piggy bank or how it was being used, but that's a lot of improprieties. Look, man, if you want investors to come to your country, you got to enforce the rule of law. Nobody's going to come to your country if you don't enforce the rule of law, because the investors will feel they will have no recourse. They will have no means of getting justice if you come there, like some Korean business person and you're cheering and robbing them. You can't do that kind of business. You're not going to invite people. Are not going to come to your country, and invest. And you need foreign direct investments. So, I think the president overstepped his bounds. but nobody's perfect, right? We all make mistakes. Take that thing away, let the central bank remain separated. Let it have that anonymity. Let it be independent. Let them do their thing. But I think it was just a wrong move. The whole thing, I think, Chris, you were asking also about what? The debt crisis, or what were you asking?
They injected some, I think,
the budget?
Yeah.
Where in the world can someone finger a budget? I mean, it's incredible. You don't see that happening in anywhere except Liberia, that you can have a national budget tampered with. In this day and age where you have everything done electronically, you're tampering a national budget. That should be a felony. Somebody should go to prison. And if you don't jail people, they will never change, right? Why the reason in developed countries people don't go speeding and breaking the law? Because when they catch you, they'll throw your butt in jail.
Yep.
You do 20 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour in any state in the U.S., even if you're on the Autobahn in Germany, where you do something crazy that would grab you and throw you in jail. But to mess with a national budget, that impacts
my question, Mr. Kennedy, my question, Professor, is that it depends on the circumstances surrounding on why they injected that amount of money into the budget. So we can't just say here that the budget was fingered. Is there a reason why they had to inject that amount of money into the budget? Is it transparent? Right now, are they giving accountability for why they, how this money is going to be used, and giving that information out there already? So what are the factors that determine what they did was right or what they did was wrong? Because most people see is wrong, but maybe they have a reason.
No, the fact that not everyone is aware of what is being done means it's not transparent. The only reason why people do things that are not transparent if they have something to hide or if something is illegal. Okay. So if you're doing something that is legal and is transparent and everybody's aware of it, then more than likely it is legal. But the only time people would do things where it's shady is in back room. They're hiding something. It's not transparent. That's because they might be injecting something in there that later on they can pull it out in some sort of appropriations that nobody will be aware of. They might inflict some appropriations just for their own personal gain. Again, if you don't have anything to hide, make it transparent. Let people know. But in addition to that, let's find out who actually did it. And again, this is based on what has been said and written. When the evidence comes out and that's the case, look, man, you got to punish somebody for these things. You have to set an example. So if you're done, you're just wasting your time. You're not gonna draw foreign direct investments to your country. Because
let me ask you a question though. Considering everything that is going around and in the fight that I'm hearing from Miguel, I think Miguel is the one who actually kind of alarmed everybody else, and then everyone is now discussing this. What if the president's office or the executive is found to be a part of this process, this entire deal, to just what you reference it as in quotation, you said it, Professor Larry, finger the budget. What do you really think is going to come out of it? And then let us just retrospect on the previous conversation we were having, where the judiciary system cannot be trusted. They would not act accordingly. And in this case, the executive actually is doing this. And you're asking that people should get prosecuted. Do you sincerely believe that anyone may get prosecuted from this action?
Well, looking historically at how things are happening in Liberia, I would hope, and I know I've said it before, hope is not a strategy, but one will hope that something will change. At some point, we can't continue the same way, right? At some point, something's going to happen, and I hope it will be for the positive, but I wouldn't speculate too much on whether the president is involved, because I don't want to believe that the president would knowingly involved in doing something like that, right? I'm being hopefully optimistic, but the process, I can't believe that people can actually tamper with a national budget. It's just incredible. I mean,
But when it comes to Liberians, I mean, you can have to believe anything because
Well,
but that
in
means you gotta
Liberia,
change the system. These things can't be paper. They have to be automated. There has to be an audit trail. If I put this thing on some platform where you have to log in to tamper with it, if Lofa comes in and he signs in and he changes anything, it will has the date time stamp with his name and his credentials on it, and I will know who's the last person. That's what it's called, audit trail. We
But
do this thing every day in and
Professor
out.
Larry, here's the thing though. This is what happened, right? Let us talk about what just happened at the house. They just found, I think, about 35 or 40 ghost names as part of the civil servant list. And these people were getting paid, and some of them nowhere to be found. Some of them are currently in the diaspora, and some it is being stated that they're dead, but they're still on the civil servant list getting paid by you and I.
Look, and something like that is so easy to prosecute, right? Because they're getting paid electronically. They're not going, unless you can tell me, say they were collecting paper check and somebody was showing up to cash it. But even with that being said, there's still an audit trail for something like that. Again, where is that money going, right? If they're wiring that money from Liberia over to the US in somebody's bank account, we can simply go to the CBL and look at the SWIFT code and we can see where the money was sent. You know, once you know where the money is sent, you can contact the US FBI and tell them, look, your banking system was used to launder money. Your banking system was used for economic sabotage in Liberia. And the US FBI will go and grab that person and jail them. They will hold them until the government can follow through with some prosecution. Well, we saw this, what happened with Charles Taylor when Samuel K. Joe had him held over in a prison over in Plymouth, Massachusetts, right? Look, it's not that difficult to just look at the central bank's data, look at the SWIFT code, and look at where the money went. How can you still have ghost? You know, look, this is so silly. When I think about it, sometimes, like my man was telling me, when Liberia are here with Jet Hype, because the things they are doing, it's like they're back in the Stone Age. It's not that difficult to fix this thing, but the people who are benefiting, they don't want to change the system.
No.
They break the system in such a way that whatever you try to do, they will try to throw a monkey wrench in it and stop you from doing what? Because they're benefiting from it secretly. But again,
but Professor, the sad thing is that most of the people now that work in government, they have had a life here in the United States of America. They live in these people's society. They know how to do the right thing. They're seeing how the process it work here. Liberia has a very good system. It's just that the people don't allow the system to work. How in the world you see people go back and run for offices, get voted in by the poor people, thinking that they're going to bring change because maybe now they know better, you know? Then they go right with the people and join the same old gang and start to destroy everything that was created to help the Liberian people and for them to update these things so it can come up to the 21st century because they have the skills to do it, but they refuse. And they just go there and continue to destroy the country. Liberia is in a serious mess. If you are not going to Liberia lately, you will not even know the depth of mess that country is in the way the people are suffering. So these people, we consider Liberians to be very wicked to one another. Very, very wicked. And then the few good ones that just a handful of them are not enough to really fight the bunch of wicked people that exist. So it's just the goddamn is going in circle. And it would take, I come to realize that I was sitting there thinking the other day, I was like, I don't know if we really ever see Liberia where they come to where it's supposed to be. And it's painful for you to just sit and watch as a Liberian because we are just not from Liberia. Liberians, we are Liberians. Liberia is where we are from. You know, so we I don't know how to explain it because it's so deep for you to hurt your own self like that. Because if you hurt the country, that's why most of you in power, when you're getting power, you take this money. After some time, you get pop again. Because you don't know what to do, you don't know how to use it, and it's stolen money. So those things doesn't last forever. So you hurt yourself, you hurt the country, you hurt other people that could have the chance. It's just a whole thing. In this country, the people need to be, they are Christian nation. How you can be in Christ and continue to do this kind of evil thing to your brothers and sisters? Because they got some people can't even find food to eat per day. Why you steal millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars from the system that's supposed to benefit everybody else?
Yeah. I mean, and I see my man.
No,
Jack.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
No, Professor, go ahead. You go ahead. I'll come in after you.
Yeah, and I think Grace, you nailed it because a lot of those folks that come from the U.S. they have some foundation. You have a combination of the people who are on the ground, who know the system well, and have corrupted the system, and then you have the folks then who I won't say is a majority of them that come from the U.S., but a lot of them do come from the U.S.
Yes.
Yep.
And they end up in that environment where
Yeah.
they don't get prosecuted. So they end up doing that. And there's a way to deter all this stuff. There's a way to stop them from even doing that. Because the second you start wiring stolen money from Liberia to buy a house in America, to buy fancy cars in America, all the Liberian government has to do is to notify the U.S. Treasury, notify the FBI, and they will keep an eye on you. And if you use money in a U.S. banking system and you don't have proof of the source of that money, it's considered money laundering, and you can get arrested and prosecuted because the IRS will first come behind you, and the IRS want to know how you made this money. And the first, when you cannot be arrested in America for certain crimes, we saw it happen to the man that used to call the Teflon Don, right, over in New York. The New York prosecutor office, Giuliani, they had tried to put this guy in prison for years. I'm trying to think of his name; it escapes me. But they had tried to put this guy in prison for years. They couldn't succeed. And they got him on tax evasion. So you steal money, the government still want you to pay taxes on it. So you steal money from Liberia, you put it in the banking system, they want to know how you got that money. And if you cannot explain it, you're going to end up in trouble. How? We just saw it happen to Bob Menendez, the senator from New Jersey, right? But we can fix those things in Liberia. It's all automation. Every other country around Liberia, Ghana, some other places there, they're doing it. Look at Botswana. Botswana only been around, 58 years. You see how successful Botswana was over in the Olympics? They invest in their people. Well, Botswana was the first African country, the second maybe to win a gold medal, or the first to win gold medal in that 200 meter or something in track. The country just been around. We've been around 170 something years. We're still fooling around with ghost employees on payroll. It's a joke. But, hey, the rescuer is here to get this thing done. So let's see what happens.
So,
All right. We welcome. We brought in Tricom Page. He's representing Mr. Winfred Russell. So Tricom has come in and joined us the conversation as well. But like Professor said, that's a country where the people overlook the rule of law, and nothing happens. If you have a law and there's no consequences, then nothing will happen. And we have seen that happen over and over in Liberia. You don't have a system that really disciplines people for corruption. So people are not afraid. If you are doing things over and over and nothing happening, everybody growing up will not be afraid. If I see my younger son here and everything he does, I don't discipline him. It's somebody else. The younger child will just follow what he's doing and he will not even care. He can do anything because daddy won't do anything. And that's how Liberia has become. From time to time, people steal and nothing happens to these people. The very Liberian applaud these people and say, oh yeah, this man is rich, this man is this. Our people from here go there, they rush for jobs because they can make $100,000 from a deal in a day or in 30 minutes on deal. They can make $100,000. They come back and forth, and people applaud them. Or see the house the guy built. Or you've been in government 10 years, you even build one house for yourself and stuff like that. Because people see, so the law, to be honest, I believe every country should have a justice system, but I don't believe the laws in Liberia really, they don't enforce it. It's not, they can't enforce it. The law is there, but the law is not being enforced. Nothing happened.
But that when it comes to when people voting the right leaders in, the law, they can enforce it. There is nothing impossible when it comes to the law being enforced. The people have just refused to enforce the law because they bring people over and time again because they are not really taught how to vote the right people into power. So they vote the same old people that will come and continue to do the same old thing. But if the right person get in that executive mansion, Liberia can make a 360. It's not hard to do. It's very easy for them to do it. We take a little while, but they can get there. And we just wanting Liberian people to know that from 2029, now y'all got to make a conscious decision that we need change for our children. Look at the amount of children I saw 3 weeks, a month ago in Liberia just selling in the street. Dirty. They get up in the morning and even brush their teeth. They wash their faces. They saliva on themselves. They walk in the street selling, buy your this here and buy your that here. In this day and age, why our children should be going through that? Why? Even our parents in time, they really never allow us to go through that. Because when it was time for school, everybody went to school. How are we this generation still yet have not learned to embrace what is good? Will always do the wrong thing. And this is the generation that has destroyed Liberia. We always say, oh, say 1847. No, it's not since 1847. Because brush, you were not dead at that. When I was in Liberia in the 80s and the 90s, brush, you were not nasty. That was one of the streets we proud. I was there working for BRS school after school. Education ministry was not nasty like that and foot on the knee and the belly falling down. Each everyone never looked at that for decades. And the government did not fix it. My brother, they used to sing talent show in Egypt, they used to go see with Valentine Browning, and we used to look forward to it. So I just see this generation don't have pride. I'm sorry, majority of this generation, there is no pride in them. They just want to get some money. Maybe their children there already only care about themselves. And we see it even in friendship, the people only care about themselves. And once they get that, they don't care about other people. The next thing they go lie down, have sex, have more children, and call it a day. That's just it. This generation is the shameful generation that we ever had. This generation that we in.
So, and Trocon, you know what? I will hold my thoughts just to bring you on. Welcome to the closing argument. Give you the opportunity to chime in, and then I like a couple things I really wanted to speak to, but I will let you to just kind of chime in to start off, and then after you, hopefully, I will go on.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. This is my first time, I think, on set with Larry. So nice meeting you by means of this medium, as well as you, Jalofa. I think it's the first time I've interacted with you as well. Good to see you, Grace. It's been many years since I've seen you. It's also my brother Henry as well. So, I'll let the conversation. You guys are doing great with your conversation. With the conversation, I'll let it be. I heard some of the points, and I rather maybe the second or third round on a comment. But for now, thanks for having me. And I'll let you make your points, and if I need to respond, I will respond. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Choco. Nice to see you.
Welcome, Trocon. Please make the TCA a home if you can. We appreciate every voice to help, transform Liberia. This is why TC is here. Couple things that I first of all, I want to address the issue of we have, Grace, you said we have skillful Liberians, people who are knowledgeable and skillful who are in Liberia, but they are not doing it. I want to disagree. Professor Larry here, who he has an experience as an IT professional in the banking sector, finance, and everything else. If Professor Larry was to be given, if he would be given the opportunity to serve in a capacity as an IT professional, what is an engineer, tech support, desktop support, and he noticed something going on wrong, instantaneously, he would say, hey, hold on 1 second. Is that how you guys do it here? No, it should be done this way. A nurse, a professional nurse who values and appreciates her service, if you were to bring that nurse to JFK because of the service that she have rendered to others in the United States, the Caucasians who have benefited from her service, you took her to JFK. If she was as skillful as you described her, when she went to JFK and she noticed that someone was doing something wrong, she would alert the rest of the folks and say, hey, why are we doing it this way? Let us do it the right way. That is the actual description of being skillful. That means you know what you're doing and you value what you're doing and you can do it. But folks who are often leaving from here, going to Liberia and changing things to what best suits them, I would not describe them as being knowledgeable or skillful. They are evil. They are evil. They are witchcrafts. They are corrupt. They don't care. This is where they get our people. Sis Grace and everybody else on here, let me be honest with you. These people are not stupid when it comes to being corrupt and bunch of thieves. They know their kids are not in Liberia. And for that reason, they value not the education system. So they see no reason to advocate for funds to be invested when they're discussing the budget to the education system. Because the kids are not in Liberia, the kids are here in America. They are carrying the best of education you can ever think about. Then if you're to look at the health care, they don't care. These people, you really think Fanati Kofa, if he were to fall ill today, he will go to JFK? That man will get flown out of Liberia and go to Ghana, somewhere else to seek medical attention. But if my Mary, down Waterside or somewhere else, fell ill, she have to be the victim of a spoiled system, because you know what? She cannot afford admission at the hospital, and for that reason, the nurses and doctor who don't even value the basic ethics, what they took the oath for. They took oath to protect or save lives. They will leave that elderly woman out the door to die because she cannot afford the $20 for admission, not to speak of medications that's supposed to be provided. So it's not that our people really have the skill, or some of them may, but they are just so wicked to the extent of which they will simply do these things because they want to enrich themselves. Yombi Conga Lauren kids
that part, Julius, they have the skill, but they're just wicked. That part.
Okay, so yeah, Yombi Conga Lauren kids are not in Liberia. How long have Yombi Conga Lawrence been a senator? This woman been a senator longer than you can imagine. Can we reference any referral medical institution in Grand Bassa County where if people from Monrovia cannot get admission, they can go to Grand Bassa County because the distance is not too long? No. You know why? Yombi Conga and her entire family, they are right here in the United States. They are benefiting from a system that works. The vast majority of them, these people are so wicked to the extent that they don't see reason. Look at our president, and I'll end on this note. Look at President Boakai. This is an elderly statesman who yesterday was living just like a regular person, and people thought that, yeah, he was very humble. He stayed in the same house that he needed to stay in. Today, President Boakai's name is written under his shoes. Okay? His name is written under his shoes. Okay? That's the kind of precedent we have to deal with. And you think these people are doing these things because they don't know? President Boakai know he got nothing to lose at this point. You kick him out, he already got what he wanted. You would never take his name out of the book, the history that is written, that he served your country as a president. His wife will remain the first lady or once served as a first lady. But how can we actually get back to what these young people are going through? Medication is not available at the hospital. JFK, I just had people send me pictures of how dry JFK is, not to speak of Redemption Hospital or other hospitals in Liberia. It is just mere wickedness. These people are so wicked to the extent that they don't care about the suffering masses, and they are very pretentious. And I don't want to think that they are skillful. The ones that leave from here and join the other people back home to suffer our people, may God curse they and their family.
But let me just interject
Wow.
a little bit when it comes to Grand Bassa. You know, there's the government hospital in Grand Bassa, and I expected with Yumping Kanga being Lawrence, who she was married to my neighbor, Adolph Lawrence, that I grew up in the yard with. You know, God bless his soul. I hope his soul rest in peace. You know, he and my brother didn't come along, and we used to all be together. But so I was very happy to have a brother, wife in such a position. But when I went to do charity work in 2018, I went to Grand Bassa in an area called Sunset Beach. There's a beautiful beach out there in Grand Bassa. They call Sunset Beach. And I don't know why the people never fixed that place. They should have just sold it to me. I'm going to make real money, you know, bringing people to have fun in that area, you know, and build a hotel there. But they don't want to give it to anybody. So it's there. It's getting rotten. Although land don't get rotten, but it's just there, useless. And the government hospital sits right in Grand Bassa, that the neighboring people around that place in the Grand Bassonians would be going to that government hospital. If only Kanga Lawrence have put time in, really putting effort in fixing that Grand Bassa government hospital. I went in the Sunset Beach area, and I you know, we took a lot of stuff. People, women, born children, they don't have diapers and stuff like that. And then when I got to a certain area, I noticed most of the women, you know, smell very bad. So there was this girl who came to me, you know, they were around, we talking, and when she told me, said she was not well. So I asked her what she had. And I will share on the platform today because maybe her story will change somebody's life. And she was just suffering from bad, you know, infection. Maybe back in the school days or on the mission, used to call it Isha fish. And she was just suffering from that. Excuse me for the expression. But there was no medication. Her parents didn't have the money for her to go to Monrovia or to the clinic that was so far. The nearest clinic was so far away from her to get to the Buchanan City itself. And they did not have money. And she was there because of that. That simple infection. She was just smelling and you know, oozing with odor and stuff like that. So we had to make sure we were able to help that girl. So those common things, that the things that take people lives. Yes, the person was sick with the Dow. Those common things, like a woman in Liberia has a blood type O negative, right? O negative blood type. When you have O negative blood type, you get pregnant. You're supposed to take a shot when you are pregnant called Rogaine, and then after you deliver the baby, you're supposed to take another shot. That's the Rogaine shot few hours after you have the baby. But most of the time, they don't even know that. Most of the pregnant women, they don't even tell them their blood type. So when they go to the hospital, and if you O negative, your husband O negative, you can have the baby free like that. But if the person is not O negative, you will have to take that shot. And you know, most of the women die in childbirth because of that. Because the hospital don't even know they're supposed to even take this shot, and they don't know what to do. And most of them, when they're pregnant by 3 months to 6 months, that shot's supposed to be given to them. The shot is not given to them. And in this day and age, people are still dying in Liberia from childbirth. I mean, in the numbers, just because the people have refused to fix these hospitals and make sure they have, you know, nurses and doctors that will be able to carry on the real work that's supposed to be done to help the people. Those common things, clean drinking water, nothing. That's why you see most of Liberians, they have this sickness, they defective, the neck, they got all these swelling things on them because the water is not clean that they drink. It's very sad, you know. And these people sit there, they are east, they come to America 10 times a year. They fly. And thank God now that the Americans, they stop giving visa to most of them. And now the people are all sorts of visa office. So you cannot, I think after some time, you cannot go to the American embassy for visa anymore. You have to go to a whole new establishment to get visa to come to the States. So they even have made it harder since the orator told the people that, oh, America has done nothing for Liberia. So the person, we're going to proceed. So
Grace, it's not like that. People upgrading the system, Grace.
Thank you. The people are, yes, please. That is exactly the upgrading the system. So that is.
But you know, Grace, you just struck a point. Look what happened yesterday. Since the American announced that they're updating the system thing, all Liberia took to Facebook. It was all over America have spoken. America have done this. You know, people don't want me to say this, but Liberia is a very irrational society. It's very irrational, you know, and people will insult me, but you don't have no morals, you know. Morals stand and the principle of gold or debt. They don't stand there for nothing. You make a whole budget in a big country like that. You pass it, then somebody go and inject $20 million in the whole government. They stood here and lie and said the president spoke with Elon Musk. It was on the national newspaper, the government own website, E-Mansion, and they probably took it down and said that the president spoke with Elon Musk. It was the news going all on Facebook, going all around here.
It took this to dispute that nonsense.
What's the moral standard in there? The foreign minister had it on her webpage. She took it down. E-Mansion took it. President Baga talks to Elon Musk, and he's expected to, talk stuff like that. The fool the president of the nation with AI stuff, and they had it on national news, and everybody was running camera. We were thinking, is that any irrational behavior, any rational thinking come out of that place? Nothing. And that's why I say justice is good, but Liberia right now is crippled when it comes to enforcing the law. We cripple. The Supreme Court don't do anything. That's why you have a lot of young people graduating today from law school, and all they're there for to get the money, and they violate the law. Look what happened in Liberia. The president said that something that is not his responsibility, he will fire somebody, remove somebody from there, and no, he's not supposed to do it. And what happened? The whole thing would be a dead case. Watch Tyler. At the end of the day, Tyler will issue a statement. He can't continue. The fight will be over, because you know what? We are irrational. We're irrational society. Morals and everything are paralyzed in our culture. Professor, welcome then Trucker and then Brother Sylvester. Brother Sylvester.
Yeah, Sylvester, how you doing, Chief? And Trucker, nice to meet you, buddy.
I'm okay, sir.
Yeah, and Doc, you know what the messed up thing is? Even if you decide to elect new people, they're coming from the same society. There's a high chance you will end up bringing in a new set of crooks. That's the sad part about it. Because we've seen a complete turnover of the legislators. We've seen this before. And a group that came in, they were no better. They started doing the same thing. So that's what makes the whole situation sad. So the way how things are in Liberia, things kind of flow downhill. So it needs to start at the top. So the leader needs to be the person who will put his foot down. The same thing we saw was his name did over in Ghana, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, when he came in. When it starts from the top and you start laying down the law, people will say, oh man, there's a new sheriff in town. They will follow, they will get in line. But replacing the legislators who should be more powerful than the executive because they have the ability to overturn an executive decision, or they have the ability to overturn a law if they all vote together. But you just end up bringing in a whole new set of corrupt individuals. So it's a societal problem. So fixing it is going to be extremely difficult because it's a societal problem. And then you talk about Senator Lawrence, right? Being from Grand Bassa, do you know that when it comes to education, healthcare, the standard of living, Grand Bassa is the third worst in all of the counties? How can you be senators for that long? The Human Development Index for Grand Bassa is at the bottom of all the 15 counties. Simply means that you're not making the effort to bring development to Grand Bassa.
Professor Larry, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that statement you just made in a much more slower tone so our people on the radio, Hot FM and 96.1 can hear what you just said and understand it?
Oh, but
you said something about her tenure in office and the failure on her part to make impact. Can you say that again, please?
Well, I mean, I think people can draw their own conclusion because here's the thing. You can go online. You can probably find it. If you go to the United Nations website, you can find it. Mm-hmm. If you're in office that long, you should be able to have some significant impact on education, on healthcare, on employment in your county. Employment is the number one tool you can use to get people out of poverty. If people are not working, they will stay and rot in poverty. And sometimes to get that job, they need education. But you can't get the education sometimes if you're not healthy enough to go to school. You can't get. So you see how it's all related to get people out of poverty. Mm-hmm. So how can Grand Bassa, you being there as senator for that long, Grand Bassa being the third worst in terms of developing the human capital in your county? Out of the 50, Grand Bassa is the third worst. But there are things you can do to bring investments to Grand-Bassa. It doesn't necessarily have to be government driven. You, as a senator, you have the ability to travel over to the UK. You can travel to Japan. You can travel to Canada. You can motivate Liberians in the diaspora to bring investments to Grand-Bassa. They just don't know how to get people in the diaspora involved. The United States government even said it. If you want to bring foreign investments to Liberia, Liberia has a large population in the diaspora. They have a lot of money. They're looking for ways to invest in the counties. Well, we haven't been able to come and convince them because a lot of the senators and legislators, they have a lifestyle that is so way out there. The people will not be willing to trust you. If you have a senator who's flying business class, you can't go be asking people to support you when you're flying expensive business class and the people are flying coach. It makes no sense. So you got to be able to, you see, this is why when Obrador came in as the president of Mexico, when he decided to sell the national airplane for Mexico and fly commercial, he always flew commercial. People respected him. He said he wasn't going to be fooling around staying in some executive mansion. People respected him. But as soon as people get in the legislative branch, they start flying high class, man. Start living it up and then it just doesn't matter because it shows that you're not relating to the common people. The only reason you see Liberia still moving along like the way they're moving along, because we're renting our resources. We rent the iron ore. When you have people coming in and you give them concession agreement, that's a rental agreement. That's what you're doing. But you have to be able to create jobs. The population is growing extremely fast. It's over 2%, one of the highest in Africa. You look at places like Botswana, where the population is like 1.6%. It grows steadily. But when you have the population at around 2.something%, you need to create jobs at a rate that is faster than the people you're putting in the population. Otherwise, you're just putting more people in poverty. So, look, to change that thing, other countries have done it. So that means that the solution exists. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, those were all poor, corrupt countries. Today, look at them, they're doing extremely well. The GDP per capita in Singapore is higher than the United States. Singapore passed the United States in about the income that individuals make right around the time COVID hit. And right around the time the financial crisis hit the US as well. That's why Singapore passed the United States. Imagine that. Singapore has no real resources like Liberia, but it's doing so much better than the United States. Even Liechtenstein, a little small place, doing better than the United States. We are simply just living on the edge because, like Madam Sirleaf said, the number of unemployed young people in our country, is a threat to national security. You got to create jobs for them. You got to create jobs for the young people. You know, so we keep going around in this cycle, and we see what happened in Haiti. It's simply because the population in Haiti was growing, and the number of young people in Haiti, the number of unemployed young people in Haiti just kept rising. So some of them felt they had no future, you know. And then every leader that came to Haiti ended up being corrupt. Everybody that came to Haiti, the Papa Docs and all those people that in Haiti for years, they were just extremely corrupt. And you see eventually what happened to Haiti. Gangs took over the entire country. Gangs took over the entire country. It was just a complete disaster. So, look, we got to change the way things are done. And it all starts again with the rule of law. I know some people will argue that we have to love ourselves, but love in itself is not enough because people will still break the law. We have to enforce the rule of law. You have to bring technical people in. You need a large number of technical people to come in. So take jobs, post it, and get the best person to apply for it. Stop all these appointments, you know, because appointment, you just put your relative, the person from the same tribe. And we saw when Acemoglu and Robinson wrote that book, Why Nations Fail. They said the reason why you have a lot of nations not succeeding is because we tend to hire people who are related to us, our kinsmen, our friends, family, and that got nobody anywhere. So I can tell you, man, when you sit down, you think about Liberia and all the resources Liberia has, the gold, the iron ore, all those things that even tourism, we're just not spreading the wealth to the people. You have people that are living in abject poverty. Nearly 52% of the population lives in abject poverty. It is sad. It is sad, you know. And then people thought, hey, we could change this thing by having a coup d'etat. But since the coup d'etat, has Liberia progressed? No. So we know war doesn't solve the problem, right? Because one of the former economists over at the World Bank said, when countries go to war, especially in Africa, you need at least $10 billion to get them back to where they were before the war started. So we know we're not going to get that kind of money. So war doesn't solve the problem. You have to do it at the ballot box, and you have to educate the people. But sadly, we've seen this story, you know. And you know, I heard Grace say, you know, we got to wait 6 years before another change come through. You wait 2 or 3, 6 years, then you're talking about another generation.
Of course. Trokan, welcome. Trokan, come up. You followed the story. What's your take? Chairman Trokan, and then put the seats of it.
Well, you know, I listened to the conversation amongst the panelists, and you know, firstly, you know, I know there's a lot to be said about the country. There's a lot to be said about the people and the government and so forth like that. But one of the things I try to do is to also recognize that all is not bad in Liberia. There are good people in Liberia. Systems issues may exist. That's what we'll find ourselves. But again, there are still good people in the country to do better. A lot of the issues you guys raise, you know, I think if you were to sit and think about why the country is what it is, I think some of the conclusions that we all arrive at will be a little different. I heard the issue around, you know, Senator Yumley Conga Lawrence, you know, Mbassa, and there's other senator this, other senator that. And all those things may be valid points, but you have to understand also that those people operate within a system, in a structure. Do the structure of government allow the senators to do what they need to do in those different individual counties? When you think about centralized government, you think about government where everything is centralized within Monrovia. The individual counties do not necessarily have any true power. They do not have the individual capacity to raise any type of good funding to fund themselves. Everything comes from Monrovia down to the different counties. Can you truly say that a senator is then ultimately responsible for why the county is not developed? Do counties have allocation within the budget where X dollar amount goes towards this county directly? Or do counties have the ability, for example, can they raise their own funding and contribute to the national covers and keep that kind of local, that kind of power within themselves, rather than, you know, depending everything on the government, to the larger government, which is the Monrovia government, or to fund, you know. So some of those challenges I think exist. You know, by the end of the day, I think, I don't know whether Larry said it or someone else said it in the panel, I truly believe that the bus stops at the president. You know, if you have a very strong president who understands and bring a strong team together to effect some of those changes, you know, then some of the things can happen. But, you know, I could go on at that point. But one of the reasons I want to take a quick advantage of this opportunity when I'm on the show is to talk about my good friend Winfred Russell, who's running for Senate District 38A, and we'll be going for elections on Tuesday. And I want to encourage our people to get out there and vote for him on Tuesday. The primary will be happening in Brooklyn Park. If you live in Brooklyn Park, the Alceo area, please go out and vote for Winfred Russell. Early voting is starting now. Up through next Tuesday, you can go and vote. You can vote tomorrow. You can go and vote on Monday, or you can vote on Tuesday. So, you know, I will come back in with the, you know, more political issue, but for today, my main focus right now is just to get my candidate message out there, encourage people to go and vote, and I will leave the of Liberian politics, because trust me, you'll be surprised. Some people will take positions to vote or not vote.
Based on your
But for you to tell us why the people should vote for Winfred Russell.
So you're not going to say you're right.
Right. You say this. They say, oh, the man spoke against Boyka. Oh, the man spoke against we are.
Against we are. It's my move.
I remain.
Well, I'll ask you a question, Chokon. You're telling the people to go and vote for Winfred Russell, but can you tell us why the people should vote for him at this point?
Yes. One is our all of us who are in Brooklyn Park or we live in the Brooklyn Park area. It's our constitutional responsibility to go and vote. That's the first point, right? Vote. I encourage you to vote for my candidate, but even if you choose not to vote for my candidate, get out there and vote. That's the first thing. The second thing, the reason why I think it's important to vote for Winfred is because he represents a constituent, represents a group of people, and will have a seat at the table. The current person who's there now for the last 24 years as being a representative, a senator, he's retiring. And the question again is, if it's not Winfred, why not Winfred? The district is heavily populated by Africans and particularly Liberians. So Winfred has lived in the district for 20 plus years. He's contributed immensely to the district. He's contributed to help Liberia immensely in so many ways. One of the issues, again, when TPS was around, a lot of people experienced issues around TPS. Winfred was one of the TPS czar, the DED czar, that helped a lot of Liberians to help regularize their status. He did that for Liberians heavily in Brooklyn Park and in the state. Took people to Washington, D.C. to help lobby Congress and so forth like that. So he's also formed a non-profit organization that I was also a member of that I helped form in Brooklyn Park. Now it's a multi-million company organization called ACER. Again, that's his handiwork within the community. So he's best qualified amongst the two candidates that's running. I think he's best qualified. The other candidate just moved to the district recently, I think a couple of months just to run. But more importantly, I will tell a story, Grace, so your question why it's important for us, especially Liberians. This message is going to us Liberians, especially why it's important. Last election cycle, I was the campaign manager of Winfred Russell when he ran for mayor. He did not win that election, and the other guy won the election. One of the things that happened during that time, we had a group here in Minnesota called we still have the group here called Liberian Business Association. That association was awarded a contract prior to this mayor taking over, where they were managing a small business center. And they were paying, I think, anywhere between $10,000 or so a month to Liberian Business Association. Again, I may be off my numbers, but I think it's about $10,000 a month as a fee to help the Liberian Business Association manage these things. So there was resources coming to the Liberian community in that way, that Liberian Business Association. The moment this mayor won the race, my understanding is he took it away and re-contracted that to a different person that supported him. Oh, wow. So that was instantaneous. Our community lost out on that opportunity. All right. Why? We're not at the table. And what I always say, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, right? That's one of the things. The cool thing about it is, I can tell you, if you over there, for an example, there's a Liberian business in Brooklyn Park, permanent business in Brooklyn Park, that needed to open up. It's called Waterside, as a matter of fact. Waterside Market, that's the name of the business, right on Brooklyn Boulevard. They needed to open up licenses to open up their center. They had gone for months and months, and there was a lot of struggle. Winfred was on the council at the time as city council member, and they couldn't get through. And finally, someone said, "But hey, there's a Liberian guy there. Why don't you just talk to the guy and see what that guy can do?" And Molly, the guy who owns the store name is Molly Kamara, I think that's his name. Pick up, met Winfred, and say, "Hey, my man, listen, blah, blah, blah." Within a matter of a day or two, this thing that took almost months, almost a year or so just to get by, we're able to get him through the process. And today, it's a very thriving business. If you go to Waterside Market right now, I mean, the doors don't close. People are just in and out, thriving business, Yeah. So that's one of the benefits of having someone there you can call your own. You can pick up the phone, you know him, you personally know him. If you don't know him personally, you know someone like myself or whoever, you can say, "Hey man, he can stand up for you." He understands our issues. He understands the benefit. And importantly, for those who have children here too, that my daughters, my son can look at my brother and my friends. Oh, wow, there's a Liberian immigrant who is, senator. They can aspire to be senator as well. So those are some of the reasons, plus more. But more importantly, again, like I said, he knows the issues. He's qualified. He has a heart for service, and he's done the work. for the district. So I think that, he's the most qualified to answer your question. Grace.
And then you have somebody on the table that sound like you, Liberians. It's good to have somebody who at the table that sound like you. So when you get there, they don't understand you. They will bring your people to talk to you, and then you will get your stuff you need to get done. It's just good for us to support one another.
True. I'll give another story real quickly, Grace. So OLM is like the organization in Minnesota. We have a guy who was the executive director. His name is Kamati. Yeah. Kamati goes to the Capitol every so often trying to solicit funding for the organization Liberians here in Minnesota. What do the organizations try to do? Provide school services, after school services, health issues, resources for the community. And they rely on grants. They rely on money and stuff like that, right? So he goes to the Capitol all the time to lobby. And in his effort of lobbying, one of the senators reached out to him and said, listen, one of the reasons why your community is behind is because you don't have anybody sitting in the chambers in the Capitol to advocate and put legislation on the books.
Legislation, right.
On the books to advocate so that your community gets permanent funding. And let's be real, no offense, but if an opportunity came into the Capitol right now, call it $100 million budget or whatever allocation for a community, and let's say, for example, let's just use Ian Omar, because even though Winfrey is not on the level of Ian Omar, but she's a Somalian senator, for example. You think they will look at Liberia first versus Somalia? Let's be real. So the fact of the matter is, we're not pushing division here, but at the end of the day, it's important for us to be there so we advocate for our cause as a people at the end of the day. And Winfrey is best suited to do that. Not just advocate for our cause for all people in addition, all of Brooklyn Park. So,
in addition to that, if I may, if that is okay with you, Dr. Peabody, I just wanted to throw in a couple words about Winfrey Russell. I did not support him the last election. I had numbers of reasons why I did not support him. I have friends and family out of the Minnesota area who reached out, and I purposely told them, I said, don't support him.
Why would you do that?
And I have my reason why I did that. I'm not going to get into that, okay, right now. And the reason is simple as to why it at this point in time, we should get into making sure that our voices are heard. And I'm not ashamed of admitting to the fact that I spoke against him because I had my reason. And if Winfrey and his team want to talk about it, I'm open. I will tell them exactly why I spoke against him. And because I have my root from the Wisconsin area.
Yeah, but we don't want you to go into that. I forgot something.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah, let's try to bring
Professor
Ben sitting for a minute now.
Okay. I was just gonna add to the fact that, look, if you were to look in the African community, especially in the United States, one major thing that we are lacking is our voices to be heard. And in Minnesota, our population, Liberian population over there is heavy. If you and other people were to consider the candidacy of Russell, I'm thinking after just doing research and other thing and going behind him, I think his mindset as compared to what was stated that sent me against him, he did not mean what he said the way he said it that put me against him, because I felt like he was denigrated in a statement made against me and my people, Liberia. Anybody who goes against Liberian, to some extent, I don't care whether you're talking about tribe or anything, I take you personally, but it was not meant. It was not meant in that way. So it was not meant that way. He did not go against, and again, like I said, it was not meant the way I understood it. So now I have realized that I was wrong in the way I went at him to some extent, but I take offense to anybody that goes against Liberian because I'm a Liberian first and anything else. So,
well, let me just say this, and I appreciate you taking accountability of your actions, because I feel anyone who is able to stay in a public forum like this, I acknowledge that.
Oh yeah,
that the initial decision you made was wrong. I think that's a huge sense of maturity and a huge sense of accountability, and I appreciate that. I'll be glad to have a conversation with you one-on-one after here. But a lot of the things you're talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. But hey, when the need arises, I think we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, we can talk about it after here, not right now, but we can talk about it in the back.
Thank you. But again, thank you for admitting, I at least apologizing or maybe come to the conclusion.
Well, I did not apologize. I admitted to my decision.
Right.
I did not apologize.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Thanks for the correction. But at least acknowledging that whatever position you've taken, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sylvester, let's bring in Sylvester. Sylvester, welcome. Let's. By the way, Wilfred and his team will be coming here on Monday. We will have a short interview with them.
And unless Sylvester want to ask me a question, I haven't interacted with the brother before, Brother Sylvester. I not to be rude here, but we have another event happening right now where Liberians are gathering at the OLM building in Brooklyn Park and encouraging our people to go out there to meet Winfred and the other candidates running. And we'll be pushing out to get out to vote this weekend, a mass voting effort this weekend. Anybody and everybody who wants to contribute and see this thing turn for our benefit, please come out to OLM tonight. Tomorrow we'll be there all day, taking people to the polls. And on Monday we'll be doing the same, to do a mass campaign, getting people out in the community to do some literature drops and stuff like that. Just a lot of volunteers coming out today. So that's been going for the last hour, and I know they're probably in West Trucking right now. But I will give I will pause and give my brother Sylvester the opportunity. Maybe he wants to see a word or two so I can hear his position as well. You're muted.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your intervention on behalf of our dear compatriot. A win for welfare is a win for Liberia and a win for Africa. I do believe that we needed to get ourselves along the line. And you eloquently spoke just now about him. I thought that explanation you gave is sufficient to allow anyone to vote for him in terms of the basic qualification and the strength he bring along to the table. For me, I would quite frankly just urge everyone. I think he been into this process. He been consistent. He been a very consistent Liberian here, contributing towards not only projecting the image of this powerful country, but seeking the interest of other Liberians that are vulnerable, other Africans that are more vulnerable in the system, allowing them to kick along the line to strengthen their own stay here. Because the best way to be here is to be here legally. If you are here legally, it's strengthening your cause. And I thought he done very brilliant on that level in terms of enhancing their own way of contributing towards the process here and back home in the country. So I will wish him well. Let me congratulate the team, and I wish all of you well, and whatsoever we can do in terms of our quiet interventions. As the duo with kind of a way of campaigning, placing the call to Prince and other relatives to do their best that he can do. So I wish you all the best in this endeavor. Actually, there's no question. I'm very pleased as to how you conducted the process of the campaign. So with your own explanation, maybe to believe that the process is firm. And let me say thank you.
Thank you for that. So I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
But we still need your contribution.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping to do that. I'll try to get to you. I will contact Dr. Peabody after, then I will engage with you. But I thought these are wonderful engagement that we look forward to having.
I think we can certainly compare notes outside of here besides this campaign, but on larger Liberia, we can certainly compare notes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, let's get back into it.
I do want to go to everybody for having me. I appreciate it. We'll be back here on Monday, and then we can talk. Nice to meet you, Larry, Sylvester, Lofa, Grace, and then we'll come back. We'll get into real politics. Everybody don't get mad.
There you go.
Okay.
You're smart.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Peabody. Basically, I sat quietly and listened to the brilliant intervention coming from across the table as to what is unfolding currently in the country. A lot of things happening. Budget process, Liberian own level of patriotism in terms of what we engage with the country. The budget process is clear. Article 34 of our Constitution gave the lawmakers a lot of power in terms of that. They do a lot of different process about the budget issue. And an attempt to the PFM law, the Public Financial Act, is very also clear. An attempt to tempo of the budget is a major problems are crying that if it is true, if established that anyone's attempted doing that, because the budget is a constitutional instrument The budget did not just come from the blue skies. The Constitution talked about the budget process. So for us to go behind the scene and begin the process of trying to underpin that process is an abrogation of the Constitution. An attempt to do that, that is a serious crime on our laws. So I would believe that there should be a very independent investigation into this process to establish that who did what, if it's true that anyone. But now what we have to do now in the country, and I do agree with everyone, that there's a need now for Liberians to be punished if you violated the law of our country, particularly those that were temporarily pillaging the resources of our country, that we have to be directed to lifting poverty, trying to bring development back to the country. There's a huge process that I believe that we all have to do that, and we have to sit down and not only resign to the reality that it is about time that we foster this kind of a major process about consolidating the efforts, both from the intellectual side and from the wisdom perspective as to how we can bring the country together in a more sincere way in trying to push the country move forward. Because if we don't do that, what happens is that they're going to battle the country, they're going to push the country backward. And I do agree with that. But again, what I want to challenge us to do now is to also not always, and Lofa, I will also say this to you, we all can be loud sometimes, but it's important that we all begin the process now going back to really gauge the system. We can always be outside the system and want to be part of it, right? I will ask you that begin the process of moving to Liberia. I listened to you just now. You sounded, you say, "Oh, all the problem." Yeah, you start to say even you curse the family and you curse those officials of government. Yeah, but that is quite unfortunate because number one, the Bible says, "Vengeance is mine," right? So if for instance,
and it is only the law that if our curse. I don't.
Yeah, I understand the perspective. You're talking about those basically that you believe that may have corrupted the system or what have you, right? So, but again, I would caution you that you begin the process now living from your comfort zone. Let's move back in the country. I said that you're smart. Let's move back. Let's enter the Waragisi forest. Let's go back to Lofa. Sit in Monrovia. Engage the party with the people. Listen, to change the system was never this way. Today, to see us even criticizing, attacking government officials, we're getting there. And I listened to what Chokon said just now, that we still got some good people in Liberia, and I believe that. The bad people will not win. The good people will win this war. And I do believe that there's a lot of ugly things unfolding in the country. There's a lot of messy processes in the politics. But we can correct this and fix this by deploying other useful mechanisms that can help prevent or boot these guys out of the process. But we can't do this outside. Like one of my professors would say, you cannot lay back this way and fold your arm and want to lay and clap with your legs. It's not possible. You wouldn't be that. It's not going to work, right? So we need to engage the process, Lofa, and begin moving into the country. I would challenge you to do that. I want to hear you say, Sylvester, we're doing this process. We're trying to move in the country. I will join you. We'll move in the country in December, in November, in January. We'll spend 130 days. Like, for instance, Grace can say what she wants to say on the surrender, but Grace been going. Grace was just on the ground. You imagine what she said? She said she went on Broad Street. She went here. She went there. It's evidence-based intervention. If you went somewhere and engaged the process, like the people that were just in Liberia quite recently, he's one of those that are frequent in the country, time to time, right? But again, I'm not saying that to target you personally. I'm saying that we all engage the system and begin to be loud. We can be more louder back from the country, and that can bring a lot of positivity to the country instead of being sometimes here and saying things. But I agree, we ought to change that society. That society ought to change. We need to be. I was very mad the last time. You saw the video that I even posted during a campaign when I drove on Lofa Road for the first time, almost 80 miles per hour, right? And I was saying that video that was circulating on social media. We cannot, and that just stopped somewhere, but we need to celebrate what the country is just 43,000 square miles. And my brother, our country less than, I don't think we have any more than 25% of our entire country connected via paved road. It's unfortunate. How can we change as a people? Build hospitals for our people, clinics, good schools, and the rest of that. And I agree with what also the founder said. But we need to check the budget process, because to temper with the national budget of the country, that is a national constitutional instrument. That's a serious problem, and we need to find out who is doing what. Because quickly before I land here, the past administration, I mean, the not past administration, past legislature, right? We used to have individual lawmakers putting money in the budget for their personal schools. Individual lawmakers putting money in the budget for their personal newspaper. It was problem. We should stop that. It's wrong. Put the money in the budget for the people, not for your school to benefit or your private hospital or clinic to benefit. It's wrong. And we got to stop this kind of a thing. Yeah, I rest for now.
Dr. Peabody, am I opportune to respond?
No,
or
can I
Chris go
say
first?
something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Chukun, page, and I'm very interested in the elections that are going on in Minnesota. Once upon a time, I lived in Minnesota. I think I lived there for a year. I couldn't take it because I think the place is just too cold. So I left, but it's a very nice environment. Minnesota has a lot of Liberians in that particular state, and that's the reason why the Liberians should go out and vote for Winfrey Russell, because you guys are a lot, and you have to have somebody sitting in place to represent you. Winfrey, I know Winfrey from Liberia, when I was little, a little bit, and he's been very nice and calm person, watch his life on radio and stuff like that. And I think, sometimes things happen, people maybe you could say things, I don't know what he said, that people came against him, but I feel this time around, you need to open your eyes. The reason why I'm saying it is that I had a case before where this lady came to where I work and she was looking for help. And she never got her benefits because the people who were helping her could not understand. And number one, maybe she was different because she came from Africa, and then they could not understand what she was actually saying, but she was a Nigerian lady. She was not Liberian. And she went there for almost 2 years. They cut her benefits from $275 to $73. And she was receiving that money just because somebody did not do the right thing. And just because they couldn't understand what she was saying. And lucky for her, somebody told her about me. So she came, they brought her to me, and I spoke with her. I was able to, make sure, look at her work, look at the system and see what was going on. And I was able to tell the case worker that, oh, you know what, this is lacking. She said this, but you made a mistake and put this. She never meant this. And that day her life changed because she was able to get her everything that she was able to get. I can't say all of that right here because it's confidentiality sake, but she got all her benefits that she needed just because I was there. And that's the reason why we need representation in all of these different government offices in America here. Other countries, they do put the people in that. Liberians, most of the time, will say, oh, who can we go vote for him? But you need to vote for him. That's why Chokompe said Liberians lost a grant just because they never had somebody sit at the table. So Liberians in Minnesota, you may not like maybe somebody do something to you, but when it comes to us getting together as one people and one of your people there, you have to go there and vote for that person like that, because the other people you vote for them, when they get in that place, they don't even know you. When you come there to seek help, they might not be able to help you. You always have to have representation of your own people in that system. That's what I wanted to say about that. And he also spoke about, they got, I said it before, they got good Liberians. Yes, they do have good Liberians. We are not disputing the fact, but the good Liberians are not in the majority. It's just the truth. So that's why they cannot, the change cannot come. If most people get on the good side, maybe it will help the country to move forward and get on the right track. So yes, there are good people. We're not disputing this fact, but most of the people that go into the government, they claim to be good. The people vote for them and they go there, they don't in fact change in their lives. Senators and representatives in these counties can still do things, whether everybody depends on the government in Monrovia to do everything. They have money coming in that they can still go to the counties and do what they're supposed to do. Musa Berete is doing it in Lima County. How is he doing it and the other senators and representatives cannot do it? That's the question we're asking. How? Because you guys are working to the same place, and if you love your people, you will bring something, do something, bring some change in the country, create jobs, find a way Tap into diaspora Liberians as somebody was saying, Professor Kennedy. Tap into to us. We have ideas. Some people got money to invest, but the first thing is just see us as enemies. So you cannot even tap into us when we even try to talk about it for the country good. You say we're looking for a job, and so how you can help your county? I will blame the senators and representatives that are not helping the counties. They are to be blamed. I'm not going to take the blame away from them. They're supposed to be able to do the right thing. They told the people when they get there, they were going to bring change into the counties, and they can do it. Besides the money that they're getting for whatsoever they're getting it for, they can seek help. The people got so many help that they can give. You focus on your county. If there's a hospital there, you focus on that hospital. You write up a project proposal. You put it out here. You ask people to donate. You seek grants and stuff, and you will get help. And you will go and face the county. Whatsoever you plan that year, say, you know what, this year we accomplish this, this, and this. Next year we accomplish it. Other counties, then the representative doing it. So we're not going to tell anybody. Madam Kanka Lawrence has been in that position for too long for Grand Bassa to be the territory or poorest county in Liberia. It's sad. It's just sad. And when you go to Grand Bassa, the things that the people are suffering. I've been to Grand Bassa. I even had scholarship students in Kanga Lawrence school that I paid for. They were on scholarship and the school people were not for joke. They were not asking the people for small money. Why do you expect the people to get almost $200-300 to pay for the train for a year to go to your school when you have not created a job in the counties? I have people on my scholarship in her father's school, and they were paying good money. So that just, instead we say the right thing and say the truth and tell our people this is how we see it and tell them the truth, like we will go nowhere. We cannot continue to beat around the corner and run around. We have to be able to say what is going on for the people to change. So maybe someone is listening and said, you know what the person is saying is true. Although I feel that maybe they're talking against me, but it makes sense. Maybe I could go to my county, I could create something, do something, open a factory or water factory or something, employ people there, or maybe do agriculture, something for the people to be able to have jobs to do. They have the seaport in Buchanan there. I went to the seaport, I got a whole recording. I recorded the whole seaport. So many things are just there lacking. What is the senator doing? The senator is like a president for that county. What? Are you just sitting in Monrovia behind desk? That's the question we ask. Yeah, I will continue to ask it. I don't hate nobody. I love Liberia more.
We just hit it, guys. Let's try to move it out. If you like, we could take a few calls because guys, we want to enter this.
Dr. Peabody, is it okay for me to kind of just respond shortly to?
Yeah, go ahead, respond, and we'll take calls.
To Pee-wee, and I will try to be very brief in my response to Brother Pee-wee. I think his point here is salient, right? Very salient point that in his mind, we all should be physically on ground to be a part of the process. But I want to reference a few things that supports my idea and my decision. One, the reason why most Liberian politicians, once they are no longer in government offices, stay in Liberia, instead they move out of the country, is because they don't invest in the infrastructure or the society as a whole. They look at themselves. Okay, government official, whether senator, representatives, once they are no longer in those positions and they are free to travel, they pack their bags, everything, they leave Liberia because a new government is in place. They move. So this is what Lo-Fi Julius thought of. Outside of myself, I said the best thing for us to do is to invest in the young people on ground. And so we came up with the idea of Tech for Liberia. And currently, as part of Tech for Liberia project, what we are designing is to make available computers and networking equipment available for the University of Liberia. So the folks that are attending that institution will have access to information across the globe. So we will, as an institution, purchase those equipment. We're not asking to be a part of any political institution, because we know if we dare try it, we will be banned. So as an institution, Tech for Liberia will make herself available. And the reason why we came up with this idea, because we are beneficiaries of an institution that works effectively in Madison, Wisconsin, that I benefited from. Look up DNet. DNet as a nonprofit organization have been so impactful in the lives of local community organizations and nonprofit organizations. So I'm copying off, or we are, excuse me, not to say I am, but we are copying off their ideas and say, if you are capable of making available computers and other things that should be available to these institutions through whatever lobby means, Tech for Liberia can also make that available, and we can avail ourselves. We can encourage young women to come into technology. Women often shy away from technological and advancement or everything, because they feel like, oh, technology is too hard. Tech for Liberia encourage these young women to be a part of the process. So our first project, just to say to you, I don't have to be physically on ground, because my profession, as I'm involved into technology, I don't have to be on ground to make my impact felt. I can be distance away, but think outside the box. So if the University of Liberia is provided hundreds of computers and labs that are available for these young people to access and provide our own network through Tech for Liberia, but supported by the university, guess what's going to happen? These young people will have access to information outside of Liberia, and there will be opportunity, and we can start making similar things available to the high schools and other places and supervise them, because we are not looking, we were looking for sustainable project, not projects that we would not be able to sustain. So our ideas here is, how do we sustain these projects? These are the things that we are looking at, and how do we serve as mentors for other institutions? So I understand where you're coming from, but I want you to also take into consideration few things. I shouldn't have to be on ground physically for me to make impact. I should think outside the box. What is happening in the United States that cannot be done in Liberia? What's happening in Asia? What's happening in other parts of the world that cannot be done in Liberia? And until people can start to actually feel the impact, everything I'm saying on the social media is just vlog. Until the university students can start to see that Tech for Liberia is actually implementing these things, and they're benefiting. When I sit on here, I have no respect. They're not going to regard me as anybody. But when I worked with DNet, they provided me experience, they provided me opportunity and exposure to so many things that I am benefiting from today as a professional young man. So I can do the same thing for Liberia without having to be in Liberia. And that's what I'm talking about when we talk about innovative thoughts and being a part of growth. You cannot do it all by yourself, but you can solicit support. And we started right here. Tech Talk. If you follow Across Africa Tech Talk, come on every other Sunday. We're teaching.
Let's keep it going. We want to get a guy time.
Let me say that.
You done?
Well, you interrupted me, so I'll be done now.
Okay. All right, guys. We're probably gonna end early tonight because the guys said they want to go home. We've been having a lot of complaints that we've been staying over late for them. But let's just we'll leave exactly 8:00, maybe 7:45. So what I want us to do now, let's just according to a report, this is under Amara Kone said that it was some of the colleagues that injected that amount, that $20 million into the budget to satisfy their own interests and all of that. You know, what I want us to talk about, maybe we can take a few calls. Why is it that our Senate, we can't trust our lawmakers? Why is it that money is all about this money and money and money and money? So if they are rushing after money like that, how you think they can even put money in their own counties? How you think they will even develop their own counties? Everything that we come first. Are the benefits not enough that they're getting? Have they gotten their cars? Why is it that for once we can have a legislature that say yes, the people stood their ground? That's why you have people who will go to the Supreme Court and they just confirm them without even going through the right process, the due diligence, asking them the right question. You hear the person confirm and nobody really cares. I think the Liberian got to hold themselves responsible. Nobody going to make life better for you if you continue to vote for these lawmakers who are just not in the interest. Nobody going to make that decision. You got to make it for yourself. So I mean, it just is really really sad though. It's really sad. But let's chime in there for the next 8 minutes, and then we'll take some calls, and then we'll call it a day to close. Also, because today again, I think one of the prominent journalists in Liberia, I think Trojan, is being buried this week, and our prayers and thoughts with him. We worked with him when I was on Spoon. Trojan was a very, very excellent, good guy. You know, he always came by. He and us hang out in a room talking and lecturing and stuff like that. So, so sorry for his family, man. I pray for them. But let's talk about why the injection of $20 million. Now, probably
But
some
how
other.
can we talk about that people? By the way, Amara Kone, who said that the people had to put the money in the budget because they put the money in the budget for themselves. Let me just say so that like Senator Connor said that the people put the money in the budget for them to take it off for themselves. So for us to discuss that kind of thing, we need Senator Connor to come on this platform to tell the Liberian people. Then we know that he's a patriot. That this is what happened. So we understand and what people understand.
I reach out to. I think Amara would love to come. He promised me in Europe that he would definitely come on the closing argument. So I reached out to him again and asked him that would really love
this
him
is the time. Because
come
what
and
he
talk
said is
about
a grave accusation. He needs to come and tell Liberian people why he said that and what he has, and so we can be able to let the Liberian people know what the people are doing, so they can be preparing themselves for this whole election that are coming up, for this senatorial election, the representative and the presidential elections. The people need to be informed. Until they can come on this platform and inform the people will not know. They will just say sometimes they don't believe it, sometimes they believe it. And it's just so sad that most of these people, they tend to boss men. And I'm not saying that, but I don't think he will be that kind of person. But they tend to boss men. All of a sudden, when they get in these positions and stuff like that, you need to come and speak to your people. The representatives in here, the senators in here, they come around and speak to the people. They interact with the town halls, they interact with us. They go on platforms, they invite us to these different platforms, they go there and they speak. All the podcasts on Facebook, are you guys seeing it? The senators and representatives and different commissioners, they be on the people podcasts and answering questions. Why is it that our representatives and senators, some of them have refused, only one of them, consistently come here and tell the people because they feel humble to do that. Something about the Liberian government and their position when the people get in the Liberian people, they all be meeting, all that female, that be. You need to come and humble yourself because you humble yourself before you get in that position. That's what the people voted for you. You humble yourself. You told them you were going to do this and you were going to be part of them. And then after you got a position, you lied to them. As I heard that even the senator for Bon County, he had an ambulance in Bon County passing around and they put, I brought ambulance for y'all. Everything will be all right. Vote for me. When the people voted for him now, the ambulance disappeared. People say now no ambulance. But what the ambulance are they meant to later to the country? The ambulance cannot be from whether he borrow it and can show to the people and lie to them. So these things, we need these people to come on this platform and talk to the Liberian people. You are not better than the people. They put you into that position that you're in. And Liberian people don't look at them to be big men. They're not big men. They are public servants. They're supposed to be serving you, not you serving them. That's the thing I need to understand as Liberians. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to say.
Okay. Sylvester, and then Lofa.
Sylvester, are you paying attention? It's you, not me.
Oh yes. And that's what I said. For me, what we need to first and foremost find out. So, what's the reason? Because every money that's going in the budget, it would have to have some justification. And one of the major things I'm looking at here, because the budget emanates from the executive branch. So the entire budget process emanates from the executive branch. They prepare the budget. The Minister of Finance, through the office of the president, but on behalf of the president, the Minister of Finance will submit their executive to the legislature. Now, if they are putting money in the budget, we need to see a justification. Why are you putting the money in the budget? It's possible you're putting the money in the budget. Why are you, if it's alleged that one of the senators is saying that those guys put the money in the budget for some other personal use, we need to understand why they did that. Or in that, I would ask the president, Mr. President, don't sign the budget on the basis of that. The budget is not a people-oriented budget, because the budget process, the budget is meant to address poverty, to address major issues, because everything the budget addresses alleviates poverty. Everything. If you build roads, it's going to alleviate poverty. If you build school, it's going to alleviate poverty. If you build hospital, it's helping to alleviate poverty, bringing people to be healthy. The more we are healthy, and the more we move to it. So if you try to put into place money for the private sector revitalization in trying to beef up local market women so they will have to be independent. If you're trying to put into place some microfinance loan out, put the money in the budget for that purpose, they're going to help to alleviate poverty. But if you put the money in the budget to build school called the Lofa School in Lofa, on behalf of Lofa Junior, that's corruption. If you put the money in the budget to promote certain schools for individuals out of school, that's corruption. If you put the money in the budget to push to your hospital you build, that's corruption. If you put the money in the budget that will go to your auntie or your wife, brother, institution, that is corruption. And that's one of the major things that is unfolding in the country. People are fronting. They will move. If I believe I'm related to Lofa, or somebody got some connection with Lofa got some business institution, will pump some money there, and the kickback, we find me will put $1 million in the budget for your institution. All of the $1 million I need $300,000 or $400,000 from you. And Lofa winning Bosch, right? Because the point there is Lofa sitting nowhere and he's going to receive $600,000. And that's what's happening. It's wrong. We got to change these things. Put the money in the budget, the appropriate amount of money in the budget that will alleviate poverty from certain areas. Then balance it regionally. And that's why when it came to the Country Development Fund before in Liberia, it brought huge water value in the country. There was the distraction about how we're going to do this. Certain time people came and said the Country Development Fund. The Country Development Fund it should have been a very good news for the country, but it became a bad news because people started to corrupt the system. Individual lawmakers will put the money in the budget and move into those areas and try to take the money and redirect the money into surface and projects that will benefit nobody. This is wrong. So again, if there's the budget process, the only person that can help us now in their place is the person the people of Liberia voted for, which is the president of the republic. If the amount we're talking is the alleged amount, if it is established that folks put the money there in a more fictitious way, if those money are fictitious dealings, we need to uncover them. And what we need to do first and foremost, the president should not sign the budget until we have sufficient and justifiable reason why those money were placed in the budget. It can be breakdown, and that's why we have them. And the president got a lieutenant that should help him do that. The Minister of Finance is there. Beyond the Minister of Finance, we have the Deputy Minister for Budget. We also have Assistant Minister for Budget. So you see, in the Ministry of Finance, we have two major presidential appointees, and they have their core of technical staff that we have to do a budget evaluation, do the budget analysis, and interpret and report to the president. This is why you should not sign this process, because these line items are not justified. Go and cover those line items. Because there's a tendency they will chunk the budget in different line items on explanatory items in the budget line. And they put those things there that won't be justified. The news instrument, when the budget passed through the line, they go into those institutions, start to do XYZ because they need some kickback. And that's it. The major time of corruption in Liberia is now. That when we don't, there were people don't pay attention to. The major time of the corrupt process is now during the budget preparation process. There where they trunk a lot of money. And then those officials of government will move now on those people, both in the House. And one of the critical areas we need to let them not always pay attention to the executive, their Congress. The legislature, particularly the Committee on Ways, Means, and Finance, the Committee on Public Account. These committees are very pivotal towards protecting the sanity of our budget process in the country. If not, we have a problem. So I think the best thing the president will do for us is that when that process is sent to the president, if those line items are not captured appropriately, the president send the budget back and say to them, we need some explanation on this process. That's the best way we can move forward.
Absolutely. Julius, let's.
I will waive my time to hear from the people in Liberia because I think I've stated a lot here. Let's hear from the people in Liberia and hear, hopefully, if we can. And
let's take a few calls.
Let's take a few calls
for the next 10 minutes, and then we will.
Yeah,
we're gonna do our closing call a day. For the guys get mad with me being Steve.
Right. I don't want us to stay here long either because I have text messages coming through. Shitaki reminded me the time is almost out. I don't know.
Henry, can you come in? And let's take some calls from Liberia.
All right. And while Henry is trying to turn everything on, let's open up the phone lines here. Yeah. Guys, if you want to chime in, let me open up the phone lines and feel free to chime in on what we are discussing. Don't be afraid though. Don't listen to my brother Sylvester. Don't be afraid to go to Liberia. You won't put fear in me. It won't happen. I'll go to Liberia anyway. So the number to call if you want to chime in is 919-324-6828. The number is 919-324-6828. Again, remember the progressive, the neo-progressive actually originated from Lo-Fi County, and my Lo-Fi brothers are part of the process. So, of course, I have to be a part of the neo-progressive. Is that correct, Sylvester?
Absolutely.
Am I a part?
Absolutely.
Let's take some calls from Liberia.
It's a shared thinking. Everybody can be part of it. It's a shared thinking.
Henry, how are you? Go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, so 777-017-635 777-2859-61 0777-2859-61 777-017-635. These are the two numbers here on the program tonight. The closing argument 0777-017-635. You can call that number and you're going to be live here tonight on the closing argument. Make your point. Be straight to the point. Be very, very brief because we are on the weekend. Today is Friday. Come on, 777-017-635 777-2859-61. Today's very first caller. Hello. And if you want to join us, you guys get in?
No.
So just wait a minute. Go ahead. Are you guys getting?
No, Henry.
No.
You can put your number
put it on speaker. Put it on speaker.
Make your point. Go ahead.
There you go.
Thank you to you guys for the show, for the discussion, and then I appreciate you people for your time, to really you for coming of our country. Very impressive. So I would like to give people for that work. But I hope that you not talk really about trying to be like prayer about it. It's a very
Yes, that's one of the key functions or the reason why we this platform is met, because that bring people the highway at times get inspired through the highway and through the right talk. So that's what the closing argument is there for. Will not go. The argument remains open until the hour. 770-176-350, 770-176-350, 777-28-59-61, 0-777-28-59-61. You call any of these number and then you're gonna get yourself live here to another closing argument on the Renaissance Radio the weekend. So many thanks to the team there, Hot FM 107.9 for also carrying this program, and the team there at 2 FM 96.9 in Nima County, Sacramento, and all other affiliate radio stations for also carrying the closing argument on tonight. So 777-28-59-61, 777-017-635. To this caller. Hello.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Put a volume up.
I don't know what is wrong with this phone here. It's just
It's
I think it is better. Your name from where you join us? Come on. Your name, hello. Your name? Vani Kurman from where? Caldwell. Make your point. Who's your president? Oh, your president Joseph Walker. That's good. Come on. Okay, thank you so kindly for following the program. 777-017-635. To this caller. Hello. I'm doing okay. Your name from where you join us? Sylvester calling from District TD Puebla. It is better. Hello. So what happens is that the panel will have to get what you're saying. So let me get clarity for them.
He's glitching. Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, make your point. Go ahead. Okay, thank you so kindly. We are not seeing here until about this Laburo, so it becomes optional to you 2029 to make the right decision. Everything you are not seeing your way through. So 777-017-635, and just to pull the disclaimer, this is not SKTV. This is the closing argument. This is not SKTV. So please do not say SKTV. This is a closing argument. To this caller, hello. No, we are 9 in the morning. We got 17 minutes up to 12 o'clock. So I'm doing okay. I need from where you join us. You gotta be audible, Chief.
Look, I think you need to take the call now. We're running against time.
Yeah. Henry, go ahead, connect, just shut that down. Let me take call from here if we can. We have the WhatsApp number available, and of course the regular. Henry, mute yourself.
But we really need to do something when it comes to the studio.
No,
the thing is not clear at all. It's not loud.
Yeah, it's been from time to time.
So what happens that we'll have to do some adjustment. The phone is here, but then what happens is that
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we got a better.
Great, we'll talk about that in the So, well, we're gonna go, guys. You have the opportunity to call in. The number to call is the same as the WhatsApp number and our regular number 919-324-6828. If you want to chime in on the conversation from back home, if you want to chime in, just add us to your WhatsApp number and that same number. You will be right here on the closing argument. It's the same number 919-324 6828, and you will be heard clearly. Add WhatsApp to your call log or your contact, and you will be heard clearly. Again, if we don't get any callers, I think the folks in the diaspora rather.
So what happened? We still getting enough feedback. We still getting more people calling in. So let's see.
Okay, let's hear what you guys have. Here, so what I'm going to tell you, Henry. Okay. Increase the volume of the computer.
So let's call on. Make your point. Hello. How are you? Any from where you join us? Mambakle. Make your point. Go ahead. Oh, we lost our caller. Oh, come on.
All right, guys. Let's call it, Dave. Let's. If no call coming in, no fire to do our closing. We want to close up by 8 o'clock. Let's do that. Let's call it, Dave. All right. So, Grace, give your closing. Hey, Frank.
Yeah, I like to thank everybody who's listening to us on the air in Liberia, because that's the people that is most important to me. I feel that the diaspora Liberians have not done done justification to the Liberian people, because the way they even sway the people to vote is totally wrong. I don't even think people should be swaying people personally because they related to them to vote, but instead they're supposed to conscientize their minds that this is how to vote and this is the right direction, not because they're in love with a particular candidate or whatsoever the case may be, but they should tell them why they should vote to change their lives and what are these people bringing, and making sure that these candidates are going to debates to be able to put it out there on what they will be able to give to the Liberian people in their counties and in their villages and within the country over. That's the reason why they should allow that's the reason why they should vote for these people in any capacity. So, I just pray for my people. I always love Liberia. This is the country I'm from. I will always be a Liberian no matter what. So for me, the fight is on. I will continue to fight till my last breath to help to change Liberia. And I know one day, I pray that we all on this platform live to see the beauty of Liberia, even if we get old in our old ages, and say, you know what, at least we're able to add our voices to these, our voices, and this is what we see Liberia have come to at this point in time. So, Liberians in Liberia, we say take courage. Always make sure you are involved in your community and what's going on in the country. Know your constituents, know what they're doing. Make sure you follow them so you can be aware. So when it comes time to make the decision to better your children's lives and the lives of your future generation or grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you will have said, in your dying bed, you know what? I did what I had to do. I didn't do it for a bag of rice. I did not do it because they gave me $100. I did not do it because my sister in America, she didn't even know what going on, telling me who to vote for because she in love with the person or she liked the person. But I did it because I saw the right thing to do, and I did it for my children. So I would like to thank all of you. I mean, it's always nice to be on this platform, and it's always nice to be here talking and putting forth information and giving the Liberian people the knowledge on what is going on in the country. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, all of you.
You too, Grace. I'll just close quickly. I gotta run, but again, it was another fascinating show. All of you guys. Professor Kennedy had to leave, but I tell you, he was just giving all the breakdown, especially when he talked about Grand Bassa County as having the worst when it comes to education. Bassa is like what? He said what? Number 2 or number 3 according to the UNICEF report and all of that. I think it's sad for our country, sad for our county, Grand Bassa, where I'm from, where I built a school in the village, in a town called Owens Grove, for those kids to go. I built a school and will it to the government. We give it to the government.
And a coastal county too that got a lot of viability for investment.
Yes, we built that school. We give it to the government. Guess what? Now we got to go back and renovate it after 4 years. They have messed up a lot of things there. Now we got to go back, repin it, put some more, change the roof, and something that they just did not manage at all. We even sent decks from here, everything for those kids. Turn it over to the government and said, this is for your manage it, because you did not have a kindergarten school. The kids were going to school in somebody old bathroom, one big in the house, a big house and the bathroom there that what the kids used to sit in, very dirty. We went there and saw it, and a Good Samaritan sent us some money. We built the school, and they have misused it so badly until we have to go back next year. We're going to be doing the whole renovation at school. So it's not surprising because people don't care. Everybody go in there for themselves. That's why you see them, they will spend the last to be elected. You got to go in there for themselves, and unfortunately, that's like you. Hey, Francis Wallow, good to see you, man. Thanks for watching from Minnesota. Tamale George, you just coming. So guys,
welcome to Mali.
You have a great weekend, man. God bless.
I can give my closing comments too, because
Oh, okay. So St. Tamerlane came to give his closing comment. I'm gonna hold back my thoughts and listen to St. Tamerlane for the mere fact that he actually chose to come on just to give a closing comment. I want to hear from St. Tamerlane.
no, but honestly, I've been following the conversation. I've been very busy with other stuff with my kids, so that's why. You know, this still soon going back to school, so all the activities.
That's good. You're owning on to your responsibility. That's good.
Make sure you take care of all your stuff, because it's soon going back to school, and so I want to spend time with them. But the good thing is that you got a great conversation. Honestly, that Pee-wee alluded to, I want to listen to him. Madam Salif, she said when she came to America at a town hall event, she said the lawmakers took it from me. She said they get very powerful. She said, I had no choice. They took it.
Yeah, I didn't give it to them.
Yeah, I didn't give it. So right now, that money in the budget, and look, I can call the names. You see, the guy that called Prince Moy there, he all one chair the Ways and Means Committee. And I'm telling you, the whole rescue block, that whole rescue group, they plan. They said, look, I want to take power. You will take the position, and then we'll do it. Yeah, they have been doing it.
And he is the senator for Bon County.
Yeah, they have to do over and over. Okay. They did it Ellington, they did it Weirton, they keep on doing it. So they all said that money in the budget. And as soon as you remember one time, I think Tyler went to at the bank counter. As soon as they carried the check, they got took the money and carried it to the speaker. That has been happening. So it's nothing strange. But like people said, is the president, if he's really sincere and want to do the best right thing, he will say, I will not sign the budget. I will not sign it. And two, I'm not calling you come and you say your colleagues then put the money there for a certain reason. Come forward. Don't just say it. Come forward. But you know, most great that you are saying, most of the people, they won't come forward until county election time. Come on, take my word. The closing argument continue till 2029, 2027, 2028. You'll be getting calls to come on a program like this because they won't come and can't make it clear. And that's the problem we're facing in our country. It's a serious thing, though. And then with the CBL, the Supreme Court put a stay order. Yeah, the president, he overacted with all his authority. You can't keep on violating the Constitution and Mr. President. You can't keep on doing it. You know, you don't have the power to suspend the governor. We suspended him. And one of the things is that, again, the lawmakers, then again, what would they do? And my brother Winfred, I'm sorry about the last time Winfred ran, one of the guys that was kept us. He said he put him because the man criticized the government. That one he think he's a man for. I mean, nobody, rational person would do that stuff. Honestly, no rational man would do it. He's ready to criticize. You can critique the government. What do you mean? And some of them they did it. They had a whole game that went against that guy, and they said they would not because he criticized the government. You can't do that.
Can you imagine?
But if anybody understand what they call real governance and politics, you won't do that as a Liberian, especially in this country. Some of them today who are against Winfred, they stuck like bro now. They had in America, but they stuck. They can't come out. They stuck. Because when you come out as a bitch, it's true. But look, guys, next week.
But if Winfred were in the position and you are going to be happy to fight for them, to come back.
Some of them who were against the man, they stuck. They were in this country doing well. They want like brother now, they can't come back here. And we see some of them.
Why they can't come back?
Oh man, we'll talk about one day. Let's leave it. Oh, wait.
All right. So
the one on advanced parole, they can't come back.
So in my closing, are you done? Tamale, you done?
I'm done, bro. Thank you so much.
Okay. So in my closing, in my closing, I just want to say though, I mean, it was a great show tonight, and I hope. I mean, as always, we always do the best we can to provide some level of information to the public, and I think tonight was no extraordinary than what it is. But let me say this to the people of Liberia: in as much as we want change in Liberia, we will not support the idea of having to bend the law to achieve what you want. The law is the law. We must abide by the law in the process. And if we support the backdoor process, we could end up as victims of the entire process. So let us not do that. Let us see how best we can abide by the law and implement what is in the best interest of Liberia, and hopefully we can achieve what we really want to achieve in Liberia. And what is lacking in Liberia is just transparency. Corruption is at the core of our governance. Okay, you cannot point at a specific agency or government institution in Liberia that is void of corruption. And this is why we continue to fail. We continue to retrogress as compared to progressing. So if you and I can simply hold hands against those corrupt government officials, the likes of Darius DeLong, Yombi Kanga Lawrence, Alex Tyler, and other people who stand against good governance in the act of corruption, I think we have a better chance when it comes to, moving Liberia forward. So I'm very glad that I am opportune to sit here and speak to my people, not only in Liberia, but globally, so that we can see things from different perspectives. And I'm always encouraging people to disagree with me on my perspective. If I come across too harsh on a specific person, hold me accountable for my statements and my position, so that I can understand that I'm a human and I should make the needed adjustment as to how we can address the issues in Liberia. Going forward, I think Liberia is bigger than any individual. So I hold no account to anybody. I owe no apology to anybody for holding them accountable for being either corrupt or too disgruntled to the success of Liberia. And this is where we find ourselves. It's just simple as that. We can build Liberia. We can move Liberia forward only if we have the right people in power. And I'll say this again, and I'll say it more. If Grace were to become the next president of Liberia, I will be harsher than you can ever imagine. If Pee-wee or Tamale, any one of these guys that I sit on this platform, guys and lady, okay, on this platform, but to have the opportunity to serve in any capacity, I will hold them accountable, just like I am doing today with Darius DeLong. I supported Darius DeLong with my hard-earned money. All right, McDonald's ain't easy to work at McDonald's and get $2 or $3. We invested in Darius DeLong. He ended up as probably one of the most corrupt Liberians right now you can never talk about. So it is hurtful to have served in government for over 4 years. And without
giving your money to him, your cost on who told you say they may when I read.
There you go, reminding me of some of the harms. And Henry, mute yourself. So all of those things we take into consideration, and we must say, all right, we will continue to do what we're supposed to do. Why it is true that I never at any point in time, insulted anybody, regardless of our disagreement. I would never buy into that idea of insults based on your political view. I may disagree with you, and it will be done vehemently based on our intellectual paradigm. But I would never. You say that. Right. I would no. That mean
no. I respect you saying that, because most Liberians, they are not like that.
No, I mean I would never insult, especially for a woman. Yeah, for you being a woman, I would never insult you. Neither would I insult anybody in general, anybody for their political view. But I would disagree with you. I would not buy into your view on issue. But we did it. We supported Darius DeLore in a way, and today he shows to be just as corrupt as anybody else in the previous government and the current government. It's sad. But you know what? On this note, I end. The fisherman never stopped his days of fishing because he caught a big fish enough to feed his family, or he went fishing and did not catch anything.
All right.
He continuously goes to feed his family. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Yeah, but
you my press.
they don't get a reply for you tonight.
Can I close briefly?
They don't get a reply for you tonight. You know, it's just like you send your child to school and then you as a parent, your expectation is not met. It becomes so embarrassing. How do you go on convincing your fellow friend? That's the way it's like. But they don't think you're gonna reply for you on tonight, and the reply is true of message. So don't go that way. Stay tuned, listen to they don't reply on tonight. They don't say you play a low over Junior. Come on. Boy, man, neither. Yeah, G.
No. Next week, people. Next week, I'm back. This stuff that Verity came up with all the money they put Tampa with. Monica will come in next week. John will be here next week. They'll come and talk all. We'll talk all. We'll have it next week. Because look at that kind of stuff. I think Lyra talking about it too. People just play with money, and not only from the both previous government, past government, I think government, all of that, all involved in this stuff. We'll have it next week, and we'll come and talk it. We'll talk it. We'll talk it. We'll talk it next week. All right. Good luck, right? And Grace, it's true though. The MRC say the way of saying, look, we change our visa system. So after August 16, you'll find someone to go get visa from. But so right now, they're making it hard. But thank God, so our people now at least the visa appointment already scheduled.
I know.
So all will be well. But guys, good night, man.
Good night, guys.
So, le va le metemos play low. Come on, play low.
You just be everything good for your
Oh yeah, so certain that that's the line we made. And so certain I tell you, oh yeah, freedom fighter, when again are going to change their mind. And whatever country are we in as a citizen, they become decisive to you.
So Henry, let me since you give me the opportunity on the radio.
Oh yes, come on. But we'll not give up. Because guess what? There were times by a few months, you told the people you're gonna come back. But where are we? You are nowhere to be seen on today. But this is our country, Liberia. With the same platform we use to propagate the message, we use the same platform to bring you back when you are making mistakes. We ain't meant to hit you, but you are following the wrong track. We say you're wrongdoing. Oh yes, come on, Liberians. So it becomes optional to you.
So
See, what town already has been you?
Shout out to Angela and Bernard. Angela and Bernard are getting married August 31st. It is the biggest wedding in Minnesota, man.
Who's that?
Angela and Bernard.
So I'm bringing you back on the radio. I should bring you back.
Bring me back on the radio. Angela and Bernard.
Oh, come on. I'll get TV this back to you very shortly. We gotta go. So make a point.
I know. Let me just say this: Angela and Bernard's wedding in Minnesota is going to be.
Are you there? Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Henry, can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me, Henry? You can't hear me, can you? Oh, Henry, you messed it up. But anyway, for those of you that are...
It is better. Go ahead. Make a point. It is better now.
Okay, good. So I just wanted to say for Angela and Bernard, they are having their day of their lives. Angela and Bernard are getting married. It's in Minnesota. It's going to be one of the biggest weddings you can ever think about, and it's going to be in the Minnesota area. Look, I'm telling you, I don't know who's not going to be there. I was invited. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it, but we are talking celebrity style wedding. I wish I had the money to make it, but I can't. You know, I'm saying McDonald's ain't paying no more because we are on. They told us to manage our expectation. So unfortunately, I'm not.
So you're cutting across.
Yeah.
Telling you to manage your expectation was just in Liberia, so you're cutting across. We're in America.
All around. But Angela and Bernard are gonna be. Their wedding is gonna be in the Minnesota area, and I'm telling you, it's a big wedding. I'm hearing big names that are gonna be there, and I was stunned. You know,
you can't name some of the names.
I was, that's the guest list, though. You want for the sake of privacy, they didn't give me the guest name, but I was told. I know I was sent the invitation, big invitation, man. You see the invitation out here? There's a Global coming out here, but unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to make it. But you know, this is young woman. Let me tell you the quick story before I get up. Right? She said she wanted this to be a surprise for her husband because her husband is a regular follower of the closing argument, and she wanted my presence to be a surprise for her husband. And so she sent me the invitation in my box, and then I responded that I would have been there, but unfortunately, due to other circumstances beyond my control, I had to notify her that unfortunately I'm not going to be there. But I'm in celebration with her, and we will celebrate she and her family, Angela and Bernard, out of Minnesota. Look, we will celebrate you guys having to be wedded. It's not anything that any ordinary person can do. You guys are masters of the craft. Enjoy your day when it comes to that celebration day, and we will keep you in our prayer. Angela and Bernard, enjoy yourself. So yeah, guys, let me take this off.
Oh yes, we gotta go. No time. But you know what we're gonna do on tonight? Even though we might explain our expectation, but we're gonna hold it tight for them. We're holding everything constant and then waiting for the thunder whistle to blow. So that hold it tight to get a low fast. Even though your expectation was not met to the day-long issue, but we gotta hold it tight. That hold it tight, please, Chief. That hold it tight. I'm just appealing to you.
The echo is too much from my end. The echo too much. So I will repeat myself. Just because of Angela and Bernard, I have to repeat myself. If the echo,
for your crown. Holy Bill, anything you need to.
On the 31st, okay, of this month. And I want all Liberians around the world to celebrate with these student young people in their whatever y'all want to call it, descriptive ideas. They get married. I wouldn't use these big words just to describe wedding, but at the end of the day, we pray that they be just who and what they are, happy together continuously, and celebrate the wedding together. We were invited. Unfortunately, we may not be able to make it, but I pray for them and I celebrate with them in all as they continue to do. Minnesota is not an easy state to celebrate a wedding in, though. I mean, it's going to be huge. So if you are in or around the Minnesota area, see how you can go out there and go celebrate with them. If you're not invited, you don't have an invitation, you will not have admission to the entire wedding, though. So don't blame me. Don't say Lo-Fi said we could come out here. I'm just telling you that Angela and Bernard are getting married on the 31st. And if you want to be a part of the celebration as a Liberian, please celebrate with us. Thank you.
Yo, so that would have tell, yeah. I just would have tell, forget it.
If my boom making you fat.
That they don't ask you why I'm making you fat.
I was making you mad. Anything you need to. I'm searching for all your ground. Holy Bill, if you cookie and making you food, you know anything you need to. It's gonna see me, running tripping, big records, son of word. Lead us in.
All right, I tell you so certain we gotta go. No time to waste. It has been educative, informative. A year on the program, a closing argument on the Renaissance Radio 96.12 FM. Join the team that's gonna be next Monday. I wish time they're gonna be here. Oh yeah, me or Jam team to inform us. So many thanks to you for your listening role. Those of you that follow online. Oh yes, many thanks to you. And many thanks to the team there, Hot FM 107.9. That's the band Zizi Bada. And the team there, 2 FM 96.9 in Nimba County, Sacre for also following the broadcast. Join us, that's going to be next Monday, at which time we're going to be at the game to provide you more information. For Condolence Street, oh yeah, so sad. We can ask why. To the Morris family, the late Trojan Kazuru Malik, the Rio Rolando, oh so sad, man. A condolence tree to the family. My heart is broken. Come on, sooner man, a brick better. Oh yes, man. Rest in peace, Chief. So catch y'all. I'm gonna be on next morning again. Oh yes, my name is Heron Jara. This one is called My Dream. Santivia alongside the late Quincy B. So bye bye from our end.
All my friends and families everywhere. You can keep walking.